Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Music Monday podcast. I'm your host, Sam Slays. Welcome. Happy Monday, my friends. I hope you're good. I hope you're chilling. Man, we're at the end of September, and I don't know if you can tell. No, you can't because my mic is blocking it. But this is the first episode this year where I'm starting pretty much in the dark. So essentially, it's just getting, later and later and darker, right? So it's really really crazy to see. But like I said, happy Monday. Today is September 25th. This is episode 140 of the Music Mondays podcast. Let's get into things, my friends, and I hope you're well. I hope you're chilling. So you guys know the drill. Weekly recap stuff, followed by a whole lot of other goodies, including reactions and reviews. So let's get right into it. We're gonna start off with some weekly recap stuff, and then we're gonna dive into a couple of things. To be honest with you, because I have a couple of things to chat about, and I have a few things that we're gonna talk about that include Patreon stuff, upcoming stuff, and a whole lot of like really really good stuff's coming. So let's get down into the nitty gritty, my friends. So, like I said, today's episode 140 and also September 25th. Let's start off with some weekly recap stuff because man, oh man, oh man. We had a really decent week here at Music Mondays, if I'm being completely honest with you. Um, Along with a couple of other uh kind of interesting things I'll talk about. But so let's just get into some weekly recap stuff. So, um, Tuesday, we actually dropped a staff roster piece on all of our socials. Just a little bit of a shout out to the whole Music Monday staff team, including our writers, designers, and curators. Just always want to show them some love as much as we can and make sure everybody's familiar with the current Music Mondays roster. Very, very important stuff. You know what I mean? So that's really something that obviously I came up with, but something I try to do at least like once a month or so, to be honest with you. So make sure you follow us on socials at All Music Mondays, and definitely go check that out and show that some love. And make sure you familiarize yourself with the Music Monday staff team, my friends. I may be the face of Music Mondays, but we are backed by a whole group of wonderful individuals. So make sure you go show them some love for sure. Um, what is Music Mondays? So this is a very very important piece that we did last week here on the show. So um I had recently got this question that was kind of interesting, and long story short, it was, what exactly is Music Mondays as a platform? What do we do for the underground? Things like that. So that was a very important segment that we got done last week during episode 139, and that's available on our YouTube right now. So definitely go check that out and show that some love, man. Especially if you're new to Music Mondays and you're new to the platform. We definitely want to make sure everybody's on the same page and everybody, kind of understands where Music Mondays comes from, So if you missed that, definitely go check that out. And huge shout out to pretty much everybody who's been showing love to our YouTube channel, man, because we are 2 subs away from 210, which is absolutely fantastic. Super super cool, and I'm just glad we hit that 200 milestone. So we're really gunning for 210 plus. So definitely go sub to the channel if you haven't already. New uploads Thursdays and Saturdays. Um, so that's a really good piece. Definitely go check that out. And if you already have, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, Music Mondays Patreon update is live. So if you had noticed, if you're a frequenter of the Music Mondays Patreon, you're pledge to the Patreon, or you even just check out the site every once in a while. Our Patreon is pretty much has a refresh. We pretty much redid the graphics. We pretty much just updated everything else and made sure that everything over there was up to shape. So expect a couple more things to come for Music Mondays and everything that we have going on over Patreon. And huge shout out to all of our Patreons. Well, you guys are amazing. Um, a brand new article is actually live right now on allmusicmonies.com. We dropped this on Friday. Now this is a very impromptu impromptu article that I did with the homie Mild Goth Daddy. So many of you have probably seen Mild around, and if you haven't, this is a brand new designer to the scene that's extremely, extremely talented, man. Mild's such a good dude, and it's really just getting his feet wet and really trying to get immersed in the scene. So definitely go check that out if you want to learn about somebody who's brand new to the scene, and somebody who's really just taking everything head on, and Mild's really diving into the scene. So I wanted to get a little bit more of a backstory on Mild and introduce Mild to the scene. So definitely go check that out, and that's written by me as well. So of course, definitely go check that out. You guys know I don't play around with my interviews. So and huge shout out to Mild for sitting down and doing that for me as well. So that takes us to, I believe, Saturday. Yeah. That takes us to about Saturday. So episode 139 of the Music Mondays podcast is available on all platforms, including our YouTube channel. But huge shout out to everybody that's been taking the Music Mondays podcast on the go. If you've been streaming us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else, huge shout out to you guys, man, for showing us some love over there. But episode 139 is available on our YouTube channel right now. So if you didn't catch that one last week, definitely go check that out and show these artists some love. And if you did go check that out, huge shout out to you guys. That's our YouTube channel is very consistent, so huge shout out to our YouTube grad, man. Very, very important. SoundCloud Sunday, volume 101 is available right now on our SoundCloud. That was curated by me, Waterfalls, and the homie Avanko. We're well underway into 100 plus volumes. So we're trying to stack about 20 to 30 tracks per SoundCloud Sunday playlist, and this one is definitely like really packed with a lot of like hidden gems and a lot of like really just kind of new stuff that is some of the people that you've already heard, but also lots of new faces as well. We try to even that out as well. Like every week we try to get some of the familiar faces in, and then as long as those guys are good, we try to get some new guys in as well. So SoundCloud Sunday Volume 101 is available right now on SoundCloud. Definitely go check that out and show that some love. And if you did, thank you. If you submitted, thank you. Make sure you share that with your friends. Post that on socials and tell everybody that SoundCloud Sunday is actually a thing, my friends, So, yeah, huge shout out to you guys, man. So, one last Sunday drop. August 2023 Patreon appreciation is live. Huge shout out to everybody that continued their pledge through August. Just wanted to obviously show them some love. Each month we'll always be shouting out all of our Patreons that made it through each month. You know what I mean? Even if you're a 1 month sub or you continue your pledge, we'll always shout you guys out and make sure we show you some love. You know what I mean? So definitely go check that out and make sure you go show our Patreon some love, man. And again, huge shout out to all of our current Patreons. You guys are awesome. And everybody who continued their pledge through July. So, that takes us to Monday, my friends. We are here live with episode 140 of the Music Mondays podcast. 10 more episodes until we are pretty much done with season 3. Season 4 of the Music Mondays podcast is episode 150 and onwards. So, very, very exciting and really, really happy to kind of reach that milestone, right? I think everything past this point is pretty crazy. So let's talk what's upcoming for Music Mondays. Let's talk exclusives and recruiting and things like that. Let's get a couple things sorted out. So let's get down to it. Exclusives. So many of you guys know that Music Mondays is on the hunt for SoundCloud and YouTube exclusives. We'll occasionally post about this at least once a month. But if you're interested in getting a unreleased exclusive SoundCloud track posted on our SoundCloud of almost 300 followers, definitely contact us. Send us an email, send us a DM, send me a DM. Let us know that you'd like to drop through Music Mondays. And after that point, you're free to do whatever you want with your song. We only want to host the SoundCloud version to continue to grow our library and really build our audience over there on SoundCloud and really show these artists some love. So If that's something that interests you and you're interested in getting a exclusive unreleased track on our SoundCloud, definitely get in contact with us and we'll be happy to have a conversation with you. So, that also goes for YouTube as well. Many of you guys know that our YouTube is relatively consistent with a lot of the content that we put out over there. So, as well as our content, we also want to make sure that we're giving artists the opportunity to really showcase some of their musical content as well over there on our channel. So if you're interested in getting a visual, lyric video, even audio hosted on the Music Mondays YouTube channel, exclusive, unreleased, of course, definitely get in contact with us, and we'll be happy to have that conversation with you because we're interested in hosting music videos and things like that as well. So definitely get in contact with us, my friends, for sure. So recruiting. Let's talk recruiting. So when it comes to recruiting for Music Mondays, we are pretty much always recruiting until we feel like we have an appropriate amount of hands on deck for Music Mondays and all the content pieces that we have out right now. We'll pretty much always be recruiting, but we are currently recruiting right now. We are interested in writers, journalists, designers, curators, content creators, people that want to do YouTube and short form media, long form media, things like that. If you're interested in any of those roles or you're interested in a deeper breakdown, we have a YouTube upload called Music Mondays is Recruiting, where I dive into a little bit more detail on those roles and pretty much how you can get involved with Music Mondays and things like that. So definitely go check that out if you're interested. And of course, send us an email or a DM, send me a DM. Resume preferred, but definitely not required. We're also interested in learning people the ropes and showing them how things are done around Music Mondays and how to run an underground platform properly. So definitely get in contact with us, and we'll be happy to have that discussion as well. So let's see here, chat. So that takes us to today, September 25th. Talks about recruiting. We talked about exclusives. Let's talk what's coming on for Music Mondays this week. So, one major thing, in case you missed a monthly, June edition is going to be live this week. We have graphics done and things like that. So, it's just got to be edited and posted. So, expect that this week, absolutely. We also have a brand new SoundCloud exclusive dropping this Wednesday from a surprise artist. I won't spoil that yet, but definitely keep your eyes peeled for that this Wednesday. Feature Friday is also returning with a special guest host, somebody that you guys are pretty familiar with here on the show, but also, somewhat of a different kind of piece, right? So Feature Friday, for many of you guys know, and for those of you that don't, is our monthly interview piece. Basically, somewhat similar to the Music Mondays podcast, except more of a one-on-one interview where we pretty much break down in artists' current career, how they view the underground landscape, a very personal one-on-one interview. So expect a brand new Feature Friday with a special guest host and a brand new special guest. So those three things are like super major. We're slowly rolling out brand new graphics for Music Mondays for a lot of our major pieces that you see here on a weekly basis. So expect a post for that relatively soon as well. Because I've been working pretty hard on some new graphics for us and things to really freshen up the brand. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. That's definitely something that will be coming this week as well. Let's see here, chat. I think one other major thing is a brand new recruiting flyer will be dropping. Obviously, other than the current one, we're gonna freshen that up as well and get a new graphic going for Music Mondays recruiting and things like that. So those major things are pretty much going to be occurring this week, and of course into October we're going to have a whole brand new stack of content for you guys, right? Workshop Wednesday, another Feature Friday, our new playlists like the breakdown, underground classics, across the pond. All those playlists will be getting a new edition, as well as we're going to be slowly integrating a Spotify playlist. So we're pretty much going to be available everywhere. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for things like that as we roll into October. Definitely really excited for October though. So That's pretty much that for major updates this week. And of course, just make sure you follow us on socials to get your latest information for Music Mondays. So let's talk a little bit before we get into some reactions and reviews. So, a very important topic got brought up to me this week by one of our frequent Music Mondays viewers and a super talented artist. They had wanted us to talk about common underground scams on the show. They wanted us to really break down how to tell if a DM or an email or anything like that is a quote unquote scam, or is just too good to be true. So we're gonna be talking about that next week on episode 141. I just want to gather a little bit more a background information for that because I have a couple posts that I have to dig up and a couple of examples that I really want to iron out before I just freestyle that off the top of my head. Next week we'll be talking about common social media scams and how to avoid them. So that'll be really good. So this week we're gonna do community feedback. Community feedback number 4. So many of you guys know once a month, Music Mondays does a community feedback segment here on the podcast. So again, many of you guys know that we have a large variety of topics that we kind of discuss here on the show, but this is really one that is relatively important, right? Because I can come up with content ideas forever, and so can the staff, and things like that. But it's not really always catered towards our community, right? Like we want to get our community more involved with things like this. We really want to get our community pretty much entrenched with their ideas and what they want to see and kind of take from that as well. So community feedback number 4 is essentially us asking for your feedback. We're interested in topics that you'd like to see us cover here on the Music Mondays channel, including our YouTube. We'd like to see some ideas you'd like to see us cover on the podcast. And we're down for anything. You guys know that we've discussed more complex topics. We've discussed a lot of basic topics. We have a couple topics in the works. Like I mentioned, next week we're going to be talking about common social media scams. But like I said, we're always interested in community feedback, and we want to hear from you guys, and we want to see what you guys would like to see on the channel and things like that. So definitely get in contact with us. If you're watching this on YouTube, definitely drop a comment. If you're seeing this on social media, definitely drop a comment as well. Because again, we are definitely interested in underground tips and tricks, right? The best resources, playlists, which distributors best, which X, Y, or Z, like anything that you guys are curious about and you'd like to see us really talking about. That's going to be something that we want to get you guys more involved with. But like I said, next week we're going to be talking about common social media scams. And again, if you're interested in seeing us talk about anything else here on the channel or the show, definitely drop a comment or send us a DM, or you're like, yo, you guys should do this, yo, you should do that, and we'll be happy to consider it. Absolutely. So yeah, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely drop a like. If you're interested, drop a comment. If you're not already subbed, I don't know what you're doing, man, because we upload 2 times a week. But of course, always sub if you drop a comment and things like that. And of course, if you're enjoying the content, right? So huge shout out to you guys, man. But community feedback number 4, let's get it. PDG, what's good, homie? I hope you're well. Yeah, that's definitely a very useful topic, to be honest. Because like that's definitely something that it's just unfortunately it's common, right? Unfortunately things like that are just super common and really shitty, and there's definitely ways to avoid that as well. So we'll definitely be diving into that for sure. So let's get into it, my friends. Let's talk reactions, let's talk reviews. Let's see what we have here tonight for episode 140. And let's see what the community is on. I know we have a decent amount tonight. A definitely decent amount for sure. So let's go over to Twitter and see what's popping. So, many of you guys know we take submissions over on Twitter. It's, for multiple reasons. The main one being it's actually the easiest to take submissions currently. There's really no other platform that really has the ease of access that Twitter does in really keeping submissions in one place. So until a platform like Threads or somewhere else actually has useful tools and discoverability and things like that, of course, we'll always be taking submissions on Twitter. So let's talk guidelines. Now, of course, tweets on screen, but it'll always be in the same format. So you guys know the drill. They'll read artists and creatives. Submissions are open for live reviews on Music Mondays live on September 25th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/ZomPlays, which is here and now. And of course, like I said, these tweets will always be in the same format. So all you have to do is really check the date and see if it's the upcoming show. If you'd like to submit your music, artwork, fashion, or digital creation, drop your links to portfolios below. All art forms are welcome. For our show limit, must be following Music Mondays on Twitter to be eligible. Patreon subscribers' submissions will be played first each week. So, essentially, you guys know the drill. Contrary to our name, Music Mondays, we've reacted to pretty much everything here on the show, right? Vocals, instrumentals, photos, art, fashion, merch, you name it, we've reacted to it, right? So feel free to drop anything that you feel deserves some spotlight on Music Mondays, and you feel like you'd like to see us react and review it. To be honest with you, so again, don't feel like you need to be submitting music all the time, but you can feel free to submit music and anything else like that. 4-hour show limit. So for our 4-hour show limit, that was implemented a couple months back, just to make the show a little bit more palatable for rewatch. Because I mean, shit, like arguably, a 4-hour show is still relatively, relatively long, right? But it's not as long as like a 5, 6, 7 hour show. That can definitely be pretty daunting to watch back. Even if you put it on kind of like the background and things like that, and you know, you were like, just playing in the background. I just feel like it can be definitely a bit long. So that's why we implemented the 4-hour show limit. Because again, we are a weekly live show. Um, and there aren't many of us out there. So that's one thing that I really wanted to implement to not only make it a bit easier on us at Music Mondays, but to make it a little bit easier to watch. Must be following Music Mondays on Twitter to be eligible. So, of course, submissions for the show will always be free. They always have been, and they always will be. But the only thing that we ask in exchange is that you're following Music Mondays on Twitter. Of course, to not only help our community grow, but to pay respect to everybody else that also submits to the show each week and waits for their submissions to be reacted to. And of course, you gain access to a whole large community of creatives that are always willing to work and just super, super supportive. So that's the only thing that we do ask when you submit. So make sure you keep that in mind. And of course, with the 4-hour show limit implemented, obviously sometimes we won't get to all submissions. I mean, we always try to get to all submissions, but sometimes once we get up to that like 4-hour show limit, there might be like a couple left over. It happens. But of course, if you would like to guarantee that your submission gets played every week, you can pledge to our Patreon. Now, our Patreon has 3 different tiers. I have broken it down a few times here on the show, and we actually uploaded a segment on our YouTube channel. So if you want to get a little bit more details, definitely go check out that video, or feel free to check out our Patreon. But again, we have 3 tiers that offer a variety of support, but all of them offer the Music Mondays Fast Pass. So for the entirety that you're pledged to the Music Mondays Patreon, you gain access to the Fast Pass, which allows you to not only submit to the show every week, but guarantee that your submissions get played first every week before we hop into the rest of the community submissions. So, again, if you want more information on that, definitely check out our channel or go check out our Patreon. Or if you'd like to see me break down our Patreon again here on the channel, I will definitely do that. I feel like we'll probably do something like that relatively soon. But the one that we just did was pretty recent, so definitely go check that one out. But you should see some updates about that here shortly as well. So that's about it. That's pretty much the hardcore breakdown of the Music Mondays podcast and how to submit to the show. The only other thing that you do need to know is that submissions close a little bit before the show starts, about an hour or so. Sometimes an hour and a half, things like that, just to get really a head count, and to make sure that nobody kind of squeezes in and messes up the whole order of submissions and things like that. Because of course we are a live show and we like to keep things free flow and things like that. So somebody just pops in like 3 hours in, they're like, "Yo, I'm trying to submit a track," and then somebody's been waiting for 3 hours, and then they get their shit played first. You know what I mean? It's a whole thing. So to circumvent that, we just close our submissions right before we go live, essentially. So there's no kind of like hustle and bustle or things like that. So essentially, you have a good 7 days to submit your tracks. It's not like, we have a tight window or anything like that. Feel free to submit anytime. You know what I mean? As long as we're not live, the submissions are probably open. You know what I mean? And of course, submissions open every Tuesday. So again, if you're watching the show here live on September 25th, submissions will open tomorrow for episode 141. If you're watching this on YouTube, submissions are already open. So definitely go check our socials and find the most recent post. And of course, these always go live on Thursdays and Saturdays. So essentially, the audio version of the show will go live on all of our platforms on Thursday, and the YouTube version goes live on Saturdays. So just keep that in mind if you're interested in where the show goes live. And of course, you can always come back to Twitch and watch the VOD. But to watch the pretty much fullest high quality version at ease wherever you want. Thursday and Saturday are the days that we drop those. So that's pretty much the Music Mondays podcast breakdown, my friends. That's pretty much everything you need to know in a nutshell. And of course, if you have any other questions, feel free to drop a comment or definitely send us a message or anything like that. But you guys know the drill. Let's see what we got here. So I know we have a decent amount this week. For sure we do. But of course, we're going to go through our Patreons first. So, starting from the top, let's see. I checked out our Patreon list today, actually. So, we're going to see here. We have EDG. That's one Patreon. We have King Mark. That's two. And I think that's it for this week. I know a couple people down here actually don't follow Music Mondays, so if we get to them, we'll talk about that as well. But we have two Patrons tonight, and then we're gonna hop into the rest of the community. So up first, the homie TDG, a very talented alternative hip hop artist, submitted a track titled "Forbid It." Prod, performed and mixed by me. Okay, so we got the trifecta here. From TDG. I'm definitely interested. Okay, 4 days ago as well. What? Okay. Let's get it. I'm down. I'm definitely down for the cause. Say less. Okay, let's get into it. Brand new TDG, Forbid It. Let's go. Must forbid it, take good riddance, make the beginning. Am I really winning? Feels like sinning. What's the image? I don't want it, but I got it, Look who caused it. I'm always taking pauses, time, and still exhausted. Sigh. Get rid of it, you the one picking it. Pay stimulus, soul replenish it. I ain't getting it, I'm missing it with the images. I can't figure it, but not image it. Pictureless, sounds be quiet. Take my time and now I'm trying to deal with violence. My mind is lying, miss my time in life and I'm not aligning. I think I'm dying, mom, I'm trying. Mother to see what it seems to be. I fake perceive, misbelieve, but do not believe. Eyes open till they bleed. I just wanna see what got into me. Energy, ate my enemy, it stole my energy. This ain't heavenly, it is hell for me. It ain't healthy and they telling me want to change, but there's a spell on me that I cast. It still lasts, and decisions asking for side-by action. It ain't tragic, I'm stagnant. I made it happen, just sadness. Damn, it took advantage of me and let the
try to make me let up. Nah, I'ma get up, run it back. I ain't done with that. 100 racks, even that won't last. Happiness don't come from fucking cash. Most forbidden, say good riddance, make the beginning. Am I really winning? Feels like sinning. What's the image? I don't want it, but I got it, but I got it. Look who caused it. Yeah, I'm always taking pauses. Time, and still exhausted. Side. Falling for tricks, I'm pissed. Flip the script, so quick bombs tick. What is this? Well, it ain't it. I'm a dip, I'm a split, float, hit. Oh, lesson skip. Wait, what the message is? I'm guessing it. Still question it. I need a split. I can't decide what is this. I need a sit. Can't resist. Stand and twitch. Behind a sec I glitch. This ain't it. I need a stitch. What's a sitch? Life ain't a bitch. Just a wicked witch. Just a wicked witch. What? Yeah. I don't want it, but I got it. Look who caused it. I'm always taking pauses. Time, and still exhausted. Side.
Okay.
Yeah. Must forbid it, say good riddance. Make the beginning in my lip.
All right. So this one's really interesting for a couple reasons, right? And I like what TDG was kind of going for here in terms of like the real like alternative side. Because we know TDG's flexibility with flows and things like that, right? But styles as well, and this was one that kind of struck me as a bit more not like obscure, but definitely like a little bit like pushing the bar for sure. Um, so let's break this one down. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about three things. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Forbid It. So, man, oh man, oh man. So let's talk instrumental. I really like this instrumental. It's got this like eerie kind of energy to it, but it stays true to like what TDG really enjoys, and it's that like classical kind of like OG hip hop style with kind of like a more modern sound. So I'm big on the direction of this instrumental. Now, of course, self prod, so TDG kind of knew what they were going for, in terms of what they wanted. So when it comes to the mix is great. Nothing clashing too overbearing, definitely not. Drums are solid, everything cuts through nicely, vocals sit nice. I don't have any gripes with the instrumental. I like the way it's leveled. All that's really, really solid. Thinking about it, I definitely didn't have any gripes. No. Um, Instrumental Shining Star. Hmm. So the melody and the sound selection is kind of what's bringing this like eerie ambient kind of like slightly like darker feel, right? But these drums kind of not only keep up the bounce, but I feel like also keep that like real like original hip hop feel to it. So probably the drums for me. I feel like the drums are very crucial here. Um because I do like the overall sound selection, right? But the drums were kind of like really what like sold it for me. I just like the patterns, sound selection. They cut through nicely. Drums are just really well done. So definitely the drums, but obviously the melody second. Um Kind of a regular structure, so that'd probably be like third, but definitely the drums. Definitely drums. Um let's talk vocals. So, um mixed by TDG. So we've seen TDG kind of work with engineers like Cole. Definitely done some self mixing in the past and things like that. But this was one track that was relatively recent that I was like, okay, um, I like the mix, right? Like the mix, like mixing's weird because like if you haven't been doing it for like a long time, you either just kind of like know how to do it or you're like not that good at it and you just have somebody else do it. Things like that, right? It's a very like interesting skill. Um that you probably won't learn like overnight. It's a very like time consuming skill as well. But when it comes to like actually just getting a basic mix out for yourself, I definitely feel like TDG hit the mark here when it comes to the mix because, like I said, vocals sit nice, drums cut through nice. It's not like overly processed. It's not like dry and raw. It definitely has like a nice middle ground mix. So again, no gripes with the vocal mix at all. I definitely think TDG hit the mark here for sure. Hit the mark. Um, vocal shining star. So, um, hmm. Probably the flowing cadence. The writing was definitely a close second because there are some cool bars in here, but the flow and cadence kind of like kept you interested in, and TDG really just kind of wrote it like the whole way, almost somewhat in like a freestyle kind of style, but probably flow and cadence. I'm gonna go with flow and cadence definitely. I just like the chill vibe mixed with very much like interesting kind of writing. So flow and cadence is definitely a shining star there. Um, So instrumental solid, definitely drums with a shining star. Vocal solid, definitely flow and cadence. Writing's like a close second. Um, let's talk theme. So, aesthetics. This is one hell of a cover here. This is one hell of a cover. Um, you know, one that just has like a lot of like symbolism. To be honest with you, like it's just like damn. This is one of those ones that you could take it in a couple different ways, and it's basic, does the job, but makes you kind of think a little bit. You know what I mean? So I like the choice a lot. Um, and somewhat again, like for that like eerie kind of like ambient kind of vibe that this instrumental had, I feel like this is a really good fit as well. Um, overall theme. So I definitely don't think this was written with like a clear intention of like, oh, okay, this has got to be X, Y, or Z. I'm gonna write a song about this. TDG is very much a lyricist in terms of like showcasing lyricism, writing skill, and things like that. But this one gave a little bit of like a internal struggle kind of feel, but also that's like really a topic that we're familiar with TDG speaking on in their music. So internal struggles and things like that are definitely very present here, but it's also mixed in with punchlines and a lot of like freestyle kind of bars that don't really like um they're more in there for like lyricism and um things like that rather than like an overall kind of theme. But you could definitely see where TDG was going in terms of like an internal struggle, um, and really kind of taking that to the next level when it comes to describing things. TDG's always done that in their music a lot is be very descriptive and almost like an extension of themselves in terms of like the world and like how they view things and things like that. So, um, there's a lot to be uncovered here if you were to really break this down lyric by lyric for sure. So very, very interesting kind of combination of things, but I'd like to see TG continue to push this ceiling because this definitely wasn't like your average track at all. So well done. Huge shout out to TDG. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much, much love. Make sure you follow TDG on SoundCloud. They are 2 follows away from 980. And of course, make sure you follow TDG on the Bird app. They are quite literally 6 follows away from 180. So go show them some love on Twitter, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We are approaching 210 subaroonies, man. We are 2 subs away. I think we're at 208. So go show the channel some love if you haven't. And we upload 2 times a week, man. Every Thursday, every Saturday. Make sure you go show these artists in the channel some love. If you already have, thank you. Huge shout out to TDG, man. Let's fucking get it, baby. So we just left off with TDG, but our second and last Patreon of the night, the homie King Mark. So Mark really has been on a tear in the later half of 2023. You know, the beginning was pretty steady, but Mark's really picked up steam now. And, you know, they've not only been leveling up mixing wise and recording wise and things like that, but just overall style wise, to be honest with you. So, Mark submitted a track titled Got Me Leanin', Prod Clooney. So, I believe this is, yeah, it is unreleased. So, this will be the first time that anybody is hearing this here on the show, man. So let's see here. Music video on the way. Mix Clooney cover King Mark. I mean, Mark's kind of always got the cover on lock. We got some lyrics in here too, so let's get into it. King Mark, Got Me Leanin', exclusive unreleased premiere. Let's go. Okay. Damn. What the fuck? This is crazy. Holy shit. The outro is so good. Music video on the way. Okay, this is a crazy ass track. This is a crazy fucking track. And Mark, what's good, homie? Hope you're well. Happy Monday. Waiting for my flight back to start boarding. Safe fucking travels. Hit me up when you land, my friend. So yeah, let's talk about this. Okay, so this is some real high quality King Mark. And not just like sound quality, but everything quality. Right? Down to the instrumental, the mix, the performance, the recording, the writing. Just even the attitude is kind of like all-time all-star right here. Like this is like an all-time peak for sure. This is really fucking crazy. This is really, really crazy. So we're gonna talk about 3 things here. We're talking about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Got Me Leanin'. So, let's talk instrumental. So, Prod Clooney. I think the thing that stuck out the most to me was the melody. I feel like this is such a King Mark melody, 100%. Um, but when it comes to the mix, very fucking solid. Like very, very solid. Especially, knowing that this is from Clooney, it's kind of not a shocker, right? You're not really like shocked. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's kind of like a very like nice, tight, well-rounded mix. Drums are solid, vocals sit nice. Drums actually cut through like really solid. Like they just mesh so well with the vocals. So that's one thing that's like top tier about this instrumental for sure. But the mix is great. Um, Instrumental Shining Star. I mean, like I'm 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 big on the drums, but the melody is so King Mark that it's like very hard to like not say the melody. Like I feel like this melody um just has King Mark written all over it, sound wise, feel wise. It like two notes in and you're like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like you kind of know what you're getting into. Um, so for me, the melody I feel like was really peak here. Um, Super solid, super super solid. So definitely the melody is a shining star, but the drums are great, structure's fantastic, and the mix was great too. So, but definitely the melody for sure. Let's talk vocals. So, um, this is pretty crazy. So let's talk mix. Mark's been on a tear when it comes to mixing their own vocals in a lot of their latest releases, and even those have sounded really tight and just super solid. But when it comes to this one with Clooney, it's got that like extra spice to it that like only like dedicated engineers have. Kind of like I was talking about in the previous submission. It's a trick that like is good to learn, and like you can do it to like a certain degree if you're a vocalist, right? But there are some engineers that have been like engineering for uh like 5 years straight, and have studied it, and things like that. So it's a very interesting skill in that aspect. And what Clooney kind of did here with Mark's vocals is so it's just next level. And I think they sound really fucking solid here. Like even the small ad libs, like a lot of the smaller kind of interesting parts of this mix are just so well done as well. So safe to say, I'm really big on this mix. And it's not like anything different than a King Mark mix. It's just a very much like a level up, I guess. But like, there's no like style change. There's no like, oh, like it's like a new direction or anything like that. No, it's like Mark's current style, but it's very refined. It's very much like, okay, like this is like what it um could sound like if it was like, X, Y, or Z. And Mark was recently on a trip with Clooney and Ryuki, so they were doing some recording, and things like this just kind of come up, and it gets really fucking crazy, really really crazy. So this is what can come out of it, and I'm big on the vocal mix, like really really big for sure. Um, the vocal mix is great, definitely no gripes at all. Definitely one of those mixes where you hear it, you're like, oh wow. Um, So really solid mix, definitely. Now, vocal shining star. There's a lot I really like about these vocals. Um, it's kind of hard to pick like one shining star out of all this because it's like the writing is really fucking crazy, but then like the delivery, and then like the structure, and then like the performance of it all. Yeah, it's hard to kind of settle on one that's like, okay, that stuck out the most type shit. Um I really like the hook too. But the verses are just like Mark's always been a really solid writer, right? But I feel like I'm gonna go with writing because like no matter how simple the topic, Mark can write the fuck out of it. Like that's the thing. Like Mark can take like a personal life experience and definitely write the fuck out of that too, and just go crazy with writing. But something as simple as like this, as like almost like a party kind of like kickback kind of track, like somewhat of a ballad, but like also kind of a party track, and it's kind of like a feel good track. And if you're not a good writer, you won't know how to like expand upon an idea like this. But like the verses in the hook, like show Mark's kind of versatility here and like ability to just write about whatever. So for that reason, I'm definitely going to go with the writing. But the hook and the flow and cadence are like right there too. But the writing across the whole track is really what kind of got me here for sure. Wow, yeah. So instrumental solid. Definitely the melody. Vocal solid. Definitely the motherfucking writing. Let's talk theme. So obviously unreleased King Mark here. So we have a temporary cover, and I'm sure we'll see that eventually, right? So that's fine. But aesthetics are always good too. Because it just defaults to Mark's profile picture, which always works. But overall theme. I mean, we kind of all pretty much understand the overall theme here, right? Like I said, kind of like a party track, kind of like a feel-good track, but also you could consider it somewhat of like a love ballad as well, right? It kind of reminds me of like end of the summer type track too. You know what I mean? We're getting to the end of September, fall's coming, you know, so there's just like there's a couple of ways you could take this, but this was a very big testament to like how well Mark can write about almost any topic and really make it work. Um, and the theme just kind of like adds on to that, man. So, well fucking done, my friend. Huge shout out to Mark for this submission. Make sure you go follow Mark on SoundCloud. They are 7 followers away from 190, man. 7 away. And of course, make sure you follow Mark on Twitter. They are 9 followers away from 310. Go show Mark some love on the bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 subaroonies. We're about 2 away. We're at 208, so go sub the channel if you haven't already. And go show these artists some love, man. We upload every Thursday and Saturday. And if you already have, thank you. Much love, much fucking love, Mark. Let's get it, baby. That was crazy. That was fucking crazy. So, huge shout out to our patrons of the night, man. Huge shout out to TDG and King Mark. Thank you guys so much for not only being patrons, but also submitting your tracks for the show. So, let's get back into some community submissions, my friends. So, we rolled back up to the top here. And again, huge shout out to TDG and King Mark. But our first community submission of the night, the homie Maxine. Now, I believe this is the first time that Maxine has submitted to the show. So I'm definitely excited. Yeah, I definitely think that they have not submitted anything to the show before. This will be very, very interesting. But they submitted a track titled Scarecrow, and the caption is, "Hey, how's it going? Let's pop this open, a new track of Rooney here. Or a new tab Rooney, and let's see what we got. Production, vocals, mix, and master by, okay. Shout out Faith. Faith with the trifecta. Lots of love in the comments, too. Lots of love in the comments. We'd love to see that. That's awesome. Okay. Let's get into it. Myth Valley, aka Maxine, Scarecrow.
I've been out here for what feels like years. I've been exchanging energy and madness. Sorry I missed your call again. I don't mean to ghost you, but I feel so alienated. Couldn't steal for far too long. I feel like I'm giving up. I feel like
Okay.
Change your colors and change your name, bitch, so now you are the same. Never knowing who to blame until you fall into the game. Cut the shackles, now I'm broken. Now I know you could have told me. Now I know you could have told me. How the fuck I'm feeling? Cut the shackles, now I'm broken. Now I know you could have told me.
This drop's gonna be crazy.
Where are you? They all left me last year. I knew it wasn't what they wanted, but I knew I had to get up. Don't leave me down again. I knew it was what you wanted, but for me to be dead? Is that what you wanted? I'm so sick of doing everything for you and nothing for me. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm fucking tired. Wake the fuck up. When are you gonna get a fucking grip? Wake the fuck up!
I feel like Scarecrow. There's a lot in the field again. I feel like I should lay low. Never see her face again. Scarecrow. There's a lot in the field again. I feel like I should lay low. Never see her face again.
I feel like
Wow. Okay, so that was fucking loaded. Like, absolutely loaded. Okay. That was a good mix of like a couple different styles though. I really like this direction. I definitely really like this direction. Um, let's talk about it. So we're gonna talk about three things here. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Scarecrow. So, boy, oh boy, oh boy. So let's talk mix. The instrumental mix is great, really great. To be honest with you, everything's nice and loud, nothing clashing, too overbearing, super level. Vocals sit nice, everything cuts through nicely. You couldn't ask for a better mix on an instrumental like this, especially with, so many sounds that can really clash and give you a hard time. I feel like the mix on the instrumental is perfect, to be honest with you. So the instrumental mix is solid. Let's talk Shining Star. I feel like structure could be pretty underrated here, if I'm being honest with you. I definitely feel like structure is something that kind of gave this instrumental a little bit of life and really made it a little bit interesting to listen to. So structure is definitely up there for me, but drums were definitely up there as well. I like the melody, but structure is kind of pretty underrated here for sure. So I feel like structure, you really gotta fucking talk about that one for sure. So instrumental Shining Star, structure for sure. Let's talk vocals here. So when it comes to vocals, the mix is great. Wow, super tight. Again, nothing clashing, too overbearing. Vocals sit well in the instrumental. Everything cuts through nicely, nice and level. Not like overly processed or overly too raw. Definitely has that like nice middle ground. And like you still get a lot of the emotion in this mix as well. Like it still feels like a very natural mix for sure, but it's nice and cleaned up definitely. So the mix is great. Um, Vocal Shining Star, man. I like wow. There's a lot I like about the vocals actually. Now that I think about it, the writing's great, the hook's great, the performance is great, the flow and cadence is great. This one's kind of hard to like Age again. This one's a little. This one's definitely like up there in terms of like vocals are pretty peak. Um, hmm. I think flow and cadence and like the overall performance is really what kind of sold me though, because the writing, yes, definitely, but like the flow and cadence and like the amount of emotion that you can still like hear in this track is pretty much like insane, like really really insane. So the delivery, the performance, the overall recording, flow and cadence was just great. Um, Writing and hook are definitely a close second though, sure. So instrumental solid, definitely structure. Vocal solid, definitely the delivery, the flow cadence for sure. Let's talk theme. So, aesthetics. You know, the IRL covers, like I always tell you guys, man, the IRL covers really fucking nail it. They really do. Especially if you don't really feel like going all out, you want to keep it simple, or you just like using IRL covers. You know what I mean? Like all the above work, but they're always a safe bet and kind of making your tracks look really solid. Especially with this version and just like a little bit of text at the bottom left. Um, I like this one a lot. Definitely simple but very effective. Um, so this is an interesting track because we actually have the meaning. To be honest with you, usually we'd sit here and talk about the overall theme and kind of what the song itself means, but we actually have a meaning right here. Um, It's a song about breaking free from my past self, someone I wasn't, whilst being met with disapproval from my family and feeling like you've been left to die. I made the song in 6 hours. And so it's like, whoa. Not only is that a very important meaning, but 6 hours is really crazy. You know what I mean? And this will really prove that, like, you know, if you're going through a rough time in life, you're going through an emotional time, and you sit down and make music, sometimes you'll come out with some of the craziest shit in such a short amount of time, just because you're releasing so much of that energy. And tracks like these are super important to make, right? Um, because it's been a while since I've actually talked about this, um, on the show, but this is definitely one of those tracks that feels like therapy, right? It's definitely one of the healthiest ways to cope with a lot of shitty parts of life. Whether you're kind of going through it personally, you're kind of going through it with people around you, relationships, friendships, family, pretty much anything. Music and art are some of the best and like healthiest forms of therapy you could ever kind of give yourself as a human being. And the fact that they kind of not only told us that in the notes, right, but um, you can hear the emotion in the track, and you can hear the real kind of seriousness of it all. And again, I just think tracks like these are beautiful and super necessary to like get your feelings out in such a healthy way and really get a lot off your chest without like bothering anyone, right? And you get to say what you want and really kind of like get a lot written out and a lot of your emotions able to just really be laid out on the table. This is one of those tracks. So well done. Huge shout out to Myth. Thank you so much for the submission, friend. Much, much love. Make sure you follow them on SoundCloud. They are 6 followers away from 120, man. Go show them some love in the cloud. And of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter as well. They are approaching 720 followers over there on the bird at 9 away. Go show them some love on Twitter, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 subscribers on the main channel, man. We upload 2 times a week. Every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, underground tips and tricks, a whole lot of good stuff's available over there. So make sure you go show these artists and the channel some love. And if you already have, thank you, thank you, thank you, my friend. So let's continue on and let's see who is up next. We left off with the homie Maxine. Now up next we got Sphere Music. Now it's been a couple weeks since we heard from Sphere, to be honest with you. I definitely remember them, but it's been some time. It's been some time for sure. So they submitted a track titled Double Life. Let's open this in a new tab and see what we got here. So, let's see here. Oh yeah, places. Places. I remember the track now. Yeah, they submitted. I think it was Vision or one of those. One of those was definitely familiar. Definitely. But they actually submitted a track titled Double Life. So let's get into it. Spear Double Life.
I set the bar, I set it tall, then tipped the balance. What can go wrong? I took the bar, I set it down, I set it down, I bent the ground. Now pour it out and sip it up. I do without, I trap myself. I built the box, I can't get out. Writing on the paper, then lighting up the paper, inhaling all the vapors. Sorry to my neighbors. I need to get a place up, at least a couple acres. I gotta get a taste of the life that I've been chasing. Log 10,000 hours just to say that I deserve it. Put my life on hold, so I just hope that it's all worth it. The minute when you got it and you think that it's all perfect, and things start going wrong and you start questioning your purpose. Dealing with the urges and the thought of being worthless. If hell is getting hot, I'm popping right under the surface. The planet from below will make you wonder what the earth is. But when I'm on the ground, I look around and see the circus.
Wow. Okay. Um, it definitely has that like same kind of ambient feel that I remember from last time for sure. So let's break this one down, chat. So we're gonna talk about three things here. We're talking about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Double Life. So, man, let's talk instrumental. So, instrumental mix is A1, to be honest with you. Nothing clashing to overbearing at all. Drums are solid, vocals sit nice, everything cuts through nicely. Yeah, like now I'm thinking about it, no gripes kind of really stuck out to me when it comes to strictly the instrumental. The instrumental is very, very solid, definitely. So the mix was great. Instrumental Shining Star. Let's see here. I like the drums a lot, but the melody gave it that like very kind of like ambient, interesting kind of feel, if you will. Um, So probably the melody, to be honest with you, but the drums are a close second just because the drums keep up that nice bounce. You know what I mean? So, definitely the drums for sure. Um, hmm. Let's talk vocals. So, when it comes to the vocal mix, um, this was a really like interesting kind of style when it comes to the mix, right? Um, Now again, it's been a while since we've heard from Sphere, so I can't really compare it to one of their older tracks, but this mix was super crisp for what it was. Um Sits well on the instrumental, nothing clashing too overbearing. Everything cuts through nicely. I again not really, no gripes are really coming to mind, to be honest with you. Um it has this like nice middle ground for um not being too raw, but like I said, not being like overly processed, which is nice. So the mix is solid. Vocal shining star. Um, hmm, hmm. I like the flow and cadence a lot. The writing was definitely up there, but I feel like the flow and cadence and delivery kind of put this over the edge for me as far as like the thing that was like super memorable. Definitely the flow and cadence. I definitely feel like that was like very well utilized, and this instrumental was like fully taken advantage of. So definitely the flow and cadence probably, but writing is definitely a close second. So the instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Vocal solid, definitely flow and cadence, but writing's a close second. Um, hmm. So let's talk theme. Um, this cover's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. So aesthetics. This has a little bit of an eerie feeling to it. I'm not gonna lie to you. It kind of reminds me of some like found footage esque kind of, also like painting almost, like I don't know. There's something eerie about this, but it definitely fits the track. I will say that. It 100% fits the energy and vibe of this track without a doubt. Not even a question. So the cover's on point. Definitely hit the nail on the head, right? So overall theme, double life. Um, Sphere kind of goes into detail on a lot of internal struggles, right? And a lot of like outside struggles, and a lot of kind of coping with almost being like ahead of a lot of other people in the aspect of like knowing who you are, knowing what things are doing in the world, like very much advanced minded, if you will, right? So I think Sphere kind of dove into a lot of like interesting personal topics, but also kind of made it palatable for anybody to understand and to really see where they were going with the overall theme of like double life, right? Because it's not like they're like secretly Spider-Man or something like that. It's more so like um you're kind of like dealing with society and like the way the world is, while also kind of creating your own world and understanding where you want to go with your um life, right? So it's kind of like a deep theme, but it's also very like surface level, to the point where you could like kind of grasp onto it and understand what Sphere is really going for when it comes to the track Double Life. Definitely. So with that said, huge shout out to Sphere. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you follow them on Spotify. And of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter. They are 5 followers away from 160. Go show them some love on the Bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 subaroonies, man. We are 2 subs away from 210, so go show us some love on the channel. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff's available over there. So go show us some love and show these artists some love as well. Mr. Halloween, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. Welcome to the streaming family. Happy motherfucking Monday. Let's get it, baby. So we left off with the homie Sphere. Up next, we got the homie Bebottronics. Say that 10 times fast. Bebottronics. Let's get it, baby. So this is a first time submitting artist. And they submitted a track titled An Exuberant One, shortened version. Tarek, what's good? Happy Monday. I hope you're well, my friend. Welcome on it. Let's see here. Okay. So let's see here. Oh, okay. So we have the regular version, the shortened version, and the extra shortened version. But Bebot actually submitted the shortened version, so that's the one that we're going to be reacting to. So let's get into it. An Exuberant Run. First time submitting artist, Bebottronics. Okay. Okay, Bebot. Fantastic structure. Okay. Well done. I really like that structure. Like, I knew that track was really gonna be like it was gonna be make or break off the structure, man. Like most instrumental tracks are, right? So this is awesome. This is really, really awesome. So actually I wanna go check out their Spotify profile before we continue here. So they have a lot of like bangers. Like they have a lot of fucking bangers. Independent underground electronic music producer from El Paso, Texas, who creates inspired music. Started journey back in 2010, creating as much as possible. I find so consistent quality music art. Looks forward to keeping the fans entertained in the long run. Sit back, enjoy the ride. Okay. Love that, my friend. Love that. So, let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. So I love finding producers that treat themselves like artists, right? They don't do vocals, but that doesn't mean that they can't put out music on like a consistent basis that's personal to them and things that they actually enjoy. So I'm huge on producers actually having their own platform and treating themselves like artists because they are. So this is definitely a producer that does just that. So let's break this down. We're gonna talk about two things because obviously no vocals. So we're gonna talk about the instrumental and talk about the overall theme of an exuberant one. So, let's talk mix. Mix is great. Nothing clashy, too overbearing. Drums are solid. Nothing kind of like sticking out that's like, oh man, that's like a bit off. No, like I think the mix is really well rounded, nice and level. Especially for like what's going on in this track and being more on the like electronic pop side, I definitely think the mix is like right where it needs to be. Um so they definitely did a good job when it comes to the instrumental mix, no doubt. No doubt. Um Instrumental Shining Star. So I like the drums a lot and the melody is definitely up there. But the thing that kind of sold me that made this like very listenable for almost anybody and especially people that enjoy listening to instrumentals is the structure. Um this track wasn't too repetitive. This track wasn't trying to like be too much. I don't think it was too long. I think it was like just perfect. To be honest with you, like just fucking perfect. So structure kind of stuck out to me and really made me go, okay, like this is solid. So definitely structure. Um, let's talk theme here. So overall theme of an exuberant one. Let's talk aesthetics. So what I did notice, taking a quick glance at their Spotify profile, a lot of these covers are very similar, right? They have a real consistent theme going here with a lot of their aesthetics, which I really like. You know what I mean? I don't think that's like required or anything like that. But when people do it in a way that they enjoy, I think it looks sick. And this is another artist that kind of takes that to another level and um, it really makes their aesthetics a little bit more consistent, which I like. You know what I mean? I think that's a very solid thing to do. So for this track in particular, great for a single. Um, Attractive to the eye, but also consistent with pretty much everything else that they've been doing on their Spotify and other channels. So solid. Um, Overall theme, an exuberant one. You know, this one's kind of funny because it sounds almost like a video game theme, but not really. Like it pushes that like OST kind of like, you know, enemy boss battle kind of theme and feeling, but it doesn't at the same time because the drums are like keeping it super fast paced as well. I don't know, like you could kind of argue the drums like add to it as well, but it definitely brings that like digital feel with a little bit of dance and making you get up and really want to move. So that's the other like really cool part about this is like an exuberant one is almost like a perfect kind of title because one of the first things that I pictured in my head was like a was like any video game and like you're kind of like playing an enemy boss and they have their own theme and shit like that. This was one where I was like, oh yeah, that's like spot on. Um, and I could see Bebop's just really expanding upon that, and I'm sure their library is probably filled with tracks like this. So I definitely like to hear more. But well done, my friend. Well done, my friend. Make sure you follow them on Spotify. Go show them some love over there, and of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter. They are 8 followers away from 80. Man, go show them some love in the Bird app. Shit. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube free upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We are approaching 210 subscribers on the main channel, my friends. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a lot of good stuff's available over there. So go show the channel and these artists some love. And if you already have, thank you, my friends. We appreciate you. So up next, we got the homie H2H. Now, this is definitely a first time submitting artist. H2H is a singer, songwriter, and performer who has worked with multiple Grammy award winning artists, DJs, and producers. Okay. Let's see what we got here. This is my verified official Spotify channel, H2H. All right. So we just get the Spotify page submission. All right, so let's see. So it looks like their latest release is Melanin. Let's see. Wait, I believe so. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, because it's the artist pick. Yeah. Okay. This looks like reminds me of like a movie cover almost. Low key. Well, let's get into it. First time submitting artist H2H, Melanin, let's go. Okay.
Fine lady, baby, can I make you my number one super lady? Cause you're so sexy. Every time you come around, I feel so tempting. Baby, now you they give me joy. Every day all along. With your melanin pop pom pom, melanin pom pom, melanin pop pom pom. Baby, now you they give me joy. Every day all along. With your melanin pop pom pom, melanin pom pom, melanin pop pom pom. How could I know that I would ever want it this bad? Oh, the situation that I found myself
This is
in
crazy.
so harsh. Oh, I'm only time, can't you see you killing me so softly? And your loving so gently. Maybe we can go all night, and together we'll be alright. Baby, now you girl, baby, we can go all night, and together we'll be alright. Ifo nanya. Baby, this kind of love, I can't let it go. Fine lady, baby, can I make you my number one super lady? Cause you're so sexy. Every time you come around, I feel so tempting. Baby, now you they give me joy. Every day all along. With your melanin pop pom pom, melanin pom pom, melanin pop pom pom. Baby, now you they give me joy. Every day all along. With your melanin pop pom pom, melanin pom pom, melanin pop pom pom. Oh, my little one, Sinachi. I just wanna bring you to my face and blow you hot kiss, Makachi.
You wanna know why? I'm about to tell you. Okay, listen.
Maka Iwo Maru baby yo, 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 Iwo Maru baby yo, you go kill a person low. Fine lady, baby, can I make you my number one super lady? Cause you're so sexy. Every time you come around, I feel so tempting. Baby, now you they give me joy. Every day all along. With your melanin pop pom pom, melanin pom pom, melanin pop pom pom. Baby, now you they give me joy. Every day all along. With your melanin pop pom pom, melanin pom pom, melanin pop pom pom. Joy. Every day all along.
What a track, man.
Melanin pop pom pom, melanin pom pom, melanin pop pom pom. Oh, my little you give me joy. Every day all along. All night long. With your melanin pop pom pom, melanin pom pom, melanin pop pom pom.
Okay. Okay. This was very, very interesting, man. It's been a while since we've gotten a track like this. That's more on like the dance kind of house style, right? So, man, let's break this one down. Let's talk about it. So, we're gonna talk about three things. Talk about the instrumental, we'll talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of this track. So, let's talk instrumental. Instrumental mix. The mix is great, to be honest with you. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Nothing that like super stuck out to me. Drums are really great, to be honest. Mells were great. Everything was super level. Wasn't really anything that came to mind that was like, oh shit. No. The instrumental mix was super, super solid. This producer definitely did an A1 job, definitely. Especially even down to like sound selection for sure. Gave it that like peaceful summer ocean dance house kind of vibe, definitely. So instrumental mix is great. Instrumental shining star. I like the structure, but the drums are definitely up there. But the melody, I feel like was one of the most memorable things about this. I feel like the melody was like really really up there. To be honest with you, at least for me when it comes to instrumental. So definitely the metal. Let's see here. So let's talk vocals. Um, vocal mix is great. That was like one of the first things that I noticed where I was like, holy shit, this vocal mix is like really fucking up there. You know what I mean? Like really, really up there, especially for like what this track is. I definitely think this vocal mix hit the nail on the head for what H2H was really going for and really what this track needed, you know, in all honesty. So the instrumental mix definitely was on point for me, definitely. And again, nothing clashing too overbearing. Sits really, really solid in the instrumental. Everything cuts through nicely. Um, drums came out solid with the vocals. Yeah, no gripes, no gripes at all. Um, so the instrumental was solid. Shining Star is definitely the melody. Vocal Shining Star. I feel like flow and cadence. Like the flow, cadence, and delivery was like such a crucial part to this. To be honest with you, um, again, bringing that whole summer kind of like dance, like energetic anthem. It's and then it's got like a slight like love ballad kind of feel to it as well. So it's like definitely flow and cadence for sure. Because this is one that has like you're instantly gonna be like bopping your head to this, especially if you're into this kind of like dance, like alt dance kind of genre. You know what I mean? Like this is perfect, and like almost qualifies as like R&B as well, right? Um, sort of a blend here. Definitely a blend for sure. So yeah, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go with flow and cadence for sure. Writing was definitely up there, but flow and cadence kind of like stuck out to me and definitely was like super memorable for sure. Definitely. Um, so like I said, an instrumental solid, definitely a melody. Vocal solid, definitely flow and cadence. Um, stock theme. So aesthetics. This looks exactly like the bottom text is like a GTA kind of font, right? But like everything above it reminds me of like those like early 2000s comedy or like serious like action comedy movies. This reminds me of that so much, bro. Like so much. And I feel like it's probably the fonts. And like regardless, I like the direction. I'm not gonna lie. Like this direction is like really fucking solid for sure. Um so aesthetics on point. I like the cover choice, absolutely. Um hmm. So overall theme, it's definitely more on like the love side of things when it comes to like actual lyrical meaning and things like that, because it's like on one side it's like a dance R&B slash pop track, and then on one side it's got this like love ballad element when it comes to the writing. And H2H definitely doesn't neglect that personal kind of emotional side, but while also kind of maintaining like a good balance of like a good summer party late night track. You know what I mean? Definitely gonna make you want to dance. Definitely gonna make you want to get up and move, especially if you're into this kind of style as well. So I think H2H did a really good job hitting the mark with, you know, mixing sounds, but also kind of like being consistent with the whole emotional love ballad kind of deal as well. So it was a great combo. Huge shout out to H2H for the submission. Thank you so much, my friend. Make sure you follow them on Spotify, and of course, make sure you follow H2H on Twitter. They're literally 3 followers away from 380, my friends. Make sure you go show them some love on the bird. So, per usual, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Music Monday's YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 subscribers on the main channel, my friends. I think we're about 208, man. We're at 208, so make sure you go show us some love on the channel and show these artists some love as well. Because per usual, like I always say, we upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, underground tips, tricks, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff. So, go check our channel out and show us some love if you're interested. And huge shout out to everybody else that already is subscribed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, we left off with the first time submission, the homie H2H. But up next, we got the homie Jordan Andrew. And Jordan's actually been on a super tear in 2023. From fully transitioning to a name change to performing their first show to a whole lot of instrumental collabs, doing more vocals. Like, this is an artist that has been working their ass off for sure. Absolutely. Um, Now, definitely a multi-genre artist, definitely, absolutely. And they submitted a track titled "Free." So let's get into it. Now, of course, we're gonna pop this open in a new tab. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. So pause that right quick. 4 days ago, this is super new. Rod Jordan Andrew, formerly known as Blessings Freestyle, art by the homie Michael. Was the first song I made for the EP, but then the EP took a new direction. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay, and we got some more like hand drawn kind of style from a Michael here, especially as far as like the color goes and whatnot. This is solid. I like that a lot. Okay, so let's get into it. Jordan Andrew, "Free."
It's been 2 years, I think by now, not why I'm losing sleep. Between my ears, I'm drifting now, I might just lose a week. I'm facing fear, it's up from here, just hope I'm not too soon to peak. I'm switching gears, I'm trying to catch up to my blessings, picking up my speed. If it's up to me, I'ma do my thing till it's done, till it's enough for me. Till it's bang and it's done and they're judging me. Till I change and it's fun and you're loving me. It's been the same for a minute. I was running, chasing rain, not a minute. I'm insane, I was saying, can I finish? I've been waiting for a minute. Now I'm praying on some money and I hope to God I get it. Cause my days are not
Oh
so funny, but I
shit!
still laugh cause I do get it. I was losing it on Monday, but it's Friday now, so I'm with it. I always said that one day I would stop saying I miss it. Te llevo conmigo, I won't ever forget it. I lean on a lot of people, so it hurts when they pivot. I wrote the song to say that it ain't hurt in a minute, and that I'm working on a way that show that now I'm moving different. The last time I had everything I didn't, I know it looks like what it is, trying to act like it isn't. How could I leave on a night like this? I'm chasing the vision. I can't believe you were right. Good life is always in the distance. I'm having a real problem with existence. What's really real don't add up right, and I'm making up the difference. Feel like I fell, and you might just start asking God to listen. I'm starting to look for a sign of progress on the mission. Stretching what they pay me, learn my lesson. Please come save me. I'm just trying to make my yearly on the daily. I'ma climb up on that mountain, get to shout and tell you what I'm worth. Whatever comes first, I will rise further. God will fall to earth. Make it hard to reach me, not even sure a call would work. Not making it look easy, cause really what's that worth? Trying to hold on to everything I've ever heard. In my dreams, I wrote the song of life out, every word.
Damn. That was fucking tight. That was really solid. Okay, I'm very excited to break this one down. So, man, oh man, let's talk about it, man. So, talk about three things. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of "Free." So, yeah, let's talk. Prod Jordan Andrew. Let's talk mix. Mix is fucking excellent. Especially with everything that's kind of going on in the track, right? When you consider the drums, the choir sample, the melody. For what this mix is, it's very solid. Nothing clashing to overbearing at all. Drums cut through nicely through everything. Everything kind of has its own space. Jordan's been pretty on point with a lot of the mixes. You know what I mean? I can't remember the last time a mix threw me off from Jordan or anybody from MMCJ. So not really a shocker that the mix is pretty tight. So definitely always got to point it out though. So instrumental mix is solid, especially drums. I like the drums a lot. Instrumental shining star here though. So the structure's really cool to me. I like the intro. The way that the choir is utilized, I feel like is really solid too. Because it's not like repetitive or too much. And the drums were like very like modern trap drums, which I liked a lot. I think mixing a lot of this kind of like classical style with like modern drums is like such a cool, refreshing sound. And you can get instrumentals like this. Choir kind of seems like the obvious shining star, but I'm definitely gonna go ahead and say the drums, just because of the sound selection and the way that they were mixed. Especially the 808 kind of like has like a decent amount of mud in it too. So I just enjoy small things like that, and I think the drums were like really knocking here for sure. Choir is definitely a close second though, definitely. Um, let's talk vocals. Um, Vocal mix was great, to be honest with you. Again, vocals sat nice in the instrumental. Drums cut through nicely. Didn't kind of sound weird with the choir or anything like that. It was nice and level. Definitely no gripes at all. Definitely no gripes at all. Super tight and well rounded. Not like overly processed. Has that Jordan Andrew feel. 100% it does. But again, much like the instrumentals, Jordan's kind of been on point with the vocal instrumental, so not really like a whole shocker there. You know what I mean? But you always got to point it out for sure. Vocal shining star. Hmm. So I like the writing, but I like the flow and cadence a lot too because um it has that like Jordan Andrew feel to it. But again, it's like last week how I was saying it was a little bit more like refreshing and like refined. This is another version of that. So I'm kind of big on this whole um like really building upon the old SLM slash Jordan Andrew vocal style. You know what I mean? I really do think that Jordan's doing a really good job kind of building that up. So I want to say flow and cadence, but writing's definitely up there though. Writing's definitely up there. Hmm. I'm gonna say writing this time. No, I'm gonna say writing just because the theme was like pop out too. So I feel like Jordan did a really good job writing, and flow and cadence is definitely up there though. Definitely tied between those two, but if I had to pick, definitely writing for sure. Um, Overall theme, aesthetics. Michael's such a talented artist, man. That it's just like it's just crazy sometimes, dude. It's just really crazy. Like this one kind of has that like high school, um, like old high school drawing you find in the back of like a yearbook or a textbook kind of vibe to it. But the color palette is insane. It has like a more lighter color palette than we'd normally get, but sometimes it is lighter. But I feel like some of the darker ones are more common, I guess. But nonetheless, this one kind of like hit the mark when it comes to um not only this track but a Jordan Andrew track. To be honest with you, but I'm big on the color palette though. I really like the color palette a lot. Um, the overall theme. I mean, Jordan talks about a lot in this track here, but I feel like a really big important part of this song was kind of like manifesting like the life that you really want, the life that you're working for, the life that you're building, and really owning it. I think Jordan does a really good job kind of describing like how they feel and like how they're going to get to where they want to be in life, right? Whether that be through art, music, everything like that. Jordan's very much manifesting in this song, but also standing on whatever they have to do to get there as well. I think Jordan did a really good job kind of pushing that bar and really being like, yo, like once I get to that X, Y, or Z, I'm gonna be free and free to do, X, Y, or Z, free to do this, free to do that. Um, but only in so many words, right? So that's what makes Jordan a very interesting artist. Is like you could deep dive into the lyrics, but you could also take them at face value and relate to them in any sort of way that you can. But Jordan definitely gets a lot of deep thoughts out when it comes to tracks like this, but also in just like a very simple way. So there's a fine line there, and I think Jordan rides it very well for sure. So huge shout out to Jordan Andrew. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much, much love. Make sure you follow Jordan on SoundCloud. They are 30 follows away from 100 or 10 away from 80. Go show Jordan some love, my friends. And of course, make sure you follow Jordan Andrew on Twitter. They are 10 away from 350. That is a great milestone. 350 is awesome. Go show Jordan some love on the Bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 200 dead subscribers, man. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff's available there. So go show some love on the channel. And huge shout out to all you guys that are here subbed and dropping likes, dropping comments. You guys are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you guys know the drill. It is about our halfway point of the show, man. We have already been live for 2 hours, man. I feel like the show flew by today. But we're gonna head into a quick commercial break. I'm gonna need all you guys to get up, go stretch your legs, go do whatever you need to do. Go get a snack, go get a smoke break, go use the bathroom, go do whatever you need to do, and we'll be right back with more reactions and reviews in episode 140. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Music Mondays, episode 140. I hope you're well. Hope you're chilling. Hope you had a good break. But let's hop back into some reactions and reviews. So, we left off with the homie Jordan Andrew, and up next we have a first-time submitting artist, Dreamboy. Now, of course, we're gonna go in blind. We don't know anything about Dreamboy. I believe they made it onto SoundCloud Sunday yesterday, but we've never featured them here on the show. So, let's get into it. They submitted a track titled "Oh Oh." Here we go. Pop it open in a new tab. Pause right quick. No description. Okay, got some tags. I see you. I see you. I see you. Okay, let's get into it. First time submitting artist, Dreamboy. Oh oh.
Young Freezy, why so cold?
Okay, so that's a solid first time submission. Not gonna lie. Let's break this down. So, we're gonna talk about three things here. We'll talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of this track. So, let's talk instrumental. Instrumental mix is solid. Drums are solid, nothing clashing too overbearing. Melody sits nice. Everything's pretty level when it comes to the instrumental. Super solid though. Yeah, no gripes. Now I'm thinking back on it. Instrumental Shining Star. The drums are solid, but the melody plays such a crucial role in bringing out a lot of this emotion. So it's like, um, probably the melody, to be honest with you. Definitely super memorable and just a melody that I feel like, really kind of fits Dream Boy's vibe that they were going for, realistically. Um, just because it brings a lot of that, like, slight ambience and emotion. So definitely the melody. Drums are a close second though. Hmm. So instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Let's talk vocals here. So when it comes to vocals, this track is kind of interesting. So the mix is decent, right? I think the vocals themselves are um mixed very solid. I feel like um they're pretty level. Um they're recorded good, they're performed good. With this instrumental, I feel like they are clashing slightly, and I felt like they were like fighting for room throughout this track. So I feel like whether it be something small that gets tweaked or anything like that, um I would definitely keep that in mind, especially for like loud instrumentals like this that have like kind of bigger basses. They can definitely kind of muddy up tracks for sure. Um, but outside of that, I think the vocal mix is pretty solid, especially for like what again Dream Boy was really going for. Um, Vocal shining star. Definitely the flow and cadence. I like how Dream kind of floated on this and really took this home. Flow and cadence definitely was something that um I would say was pretty memorable for sure. Um, hmm. So instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Vocal solid, definitely the flow and cadence. Let's talk theme. So, this cover's kind of like kind of interesting just because it could definitely correlate to the track itself, but it's also like a really solid choice nonetheless. Especially for a track like this. This is one of those covers that you're gonna see and you're gonna remember um if you really enjoy this track, right? This is definitely one of those covers that you're gonna like. Be like, oh yeah, that's that one. You know what I mean? So definitely one of those covers. Um, Solid choice nonetheless. Overall theme, I think Dream definitely touched on a lot of personal topics here, but also just kind of getting a lot of things off their chest. Not necessarily um like a super message, but definitely a track where I felt like Dream got a lot off their chest for sure. Um, Simple but a very like effective song when it comes to what music can really do for you, right? So, um, that's that, my friends. Huge shout out to Dream. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you follow Dream on SoundCloud. They are one follower away from 70. And of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter. They are 9 followers away from 40. Go show Dream some love on the Bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 subscribers. We are 2 away. We're at 208. So go show us some love because we upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff is available over there on the channel. And huge shout out to everybody else that's already subbed. Thank you. I like the blue-red 3D glasses effect. I agree. The art definitely had a little bit of spice to it. I definitely agree, Tark, for sure. So let's continue on. We left off with the homie Dream, and up next we have another first-time submitting artist, Tracy Cloud. Hi, here's a link to my new album, Spellbound. Thank you for your consideration. All right, Tracy, let's see what we got here. Obviously, we're going to listen to one track off of the album and see where that leaves us, and of course, we'll give it a little bit of critique as well. So, got the homie Tracy Cloud. They have a couple albums out. Okay. Dude. So obviously they submitted a whole project, so we'll just go with the first track and give it a little bit of a reaction and of course talk about how this would relate to the rest of the project. So let's get into it. First time submitting artist, Tracy Cloud, Cannot Help Myself. Okay.
Here we go again. Shivers on my skin. You occupy my head. You creep into my bed. And all my fantasies, you're the only one I see. And I cannot help myself. I can't think of nothing else. Everything I've ever felt down inside. I really realize, yes, it's true to me. All alone with you, the way you let fall through in my mind. So I go there all the time.
Damn.
Now it always seems I see you in my dreams. It always ends the same. I'm calling out your name. You never seem to hear. From my hands you disappear. And I cannot help myself. I can't think of nothing else. Everything I've ever felt down inside. I really realize, yes, it's true to me. All alone with you, but I only follow through in my mind. So I go there all the time. It seems so real. You're never far. I close my eyes and there you are. You will always hold secrets.
Hey, I'm Tracy.
I keep it to myself. You know I'll never tell. Your secret's always safe. I'll take it to my grave. Inside a make believe in a love that cannot be. And I cannot help myself. I can't think of nothing else. Everything I've ever felt down inside. I really realize, yes, it's true to me. All alone with you, the way you let follow through in my mind. So I go there all the time. I go there all the time.
That was a fucking trip. That was genuinely a trip. That was like, holy shit, man. That was fantastic. I haven't heard like modern rock like that on the show in probably some months, to be honest with you, because a lot of it's like a spin-off of like some like indie rock or folk rock or things like that. But this was like a really good take on some classic rock, to be honest with you. So, let's break this down. We're gonna talk about three things here. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Cannot Help Myself. So, let's talk instrumental. Mix is fantastic, to be honest with you. Mix is just fantastic. Let's get out like straight out the way. especially for how much is going on in this track, the mix is really fucking well done. Nothing clashing too overbearing. All the melodies and instruments sound fantastic. Because this is more of a live instrumental than it is like a process instrumental, so they can definitely be a little bit more heavier on the mix for sure. It can a little bit, it can be a little bit of a troublemaker. You know what I mean? Because it can either be really really easy or it's a bitch. You know what I mean? It's like super hard. So the instrumental mix for what this is great. Super solid. Instrumental Shining Star. I mean, there's so much going on, but not at once, right? I mean, it just has so much personality. So I feel like it's only right to really say structure. Just because it not only doesn't get repetitive, but it keeps adding and taking away instruments and just makes for a very like variety filled instrumental. Well, not even a question, the structure is great. So instrumental solid, definitely the structure of the Shining Star. Let's talk vocals here. So a vocal mix is pretty solid. Took a more like raw approach, but it wasn't like super raw. Definitely not overly processed. It has enough to like leave the emotion in, but it sounds pretty crisp and pretty clean. They sit well in the instrumental for sure. Nice and level. Yeah, nothing super stand outish that was like, oh my god, I have a gripe with that. No. Vocal mix is pretty solid, definitely. Especially when you consider like what kind of track this is. Um, Vocal Shining Star, probably the delivery and the flow and cadence. Writing's definitely a close second, but the flow and delivery throughout the whole track was just fantastic. Like it was very much again emotion filled, but it also kind of kept true to that like modern classic rock kind of style when it comes to the hook and kind of how everything's laid out. So I'm definitely feeling the flow and cadence for sure. Definitely. Like I said, writing's a close second. So instrumental solid. Definitely the structure, vocal solid, definitely flow and cadence. Let's talk theme. Tracy Cloud Spellbound. Aesthetics. I mean, album worthy cover, absolutely. Simple text, kind of have like an extravagant look for this image. What more could you really want, right? I mean, definitely like really up there in terms of like, you know, like album worthy, but it's also like a constellation. Yes, exactly, Tark. Well said, like a constellation. But I also found that like listening to this first track is very reflective of the cover. It's a very like theatrical emotion kind of like epic filled track. So I feel like it definitely lives up to the cover. For sure it does. So the cover's great. Overall theme. Pretty much what the title says, essentially. Cannot help myself. I mean, Tracy definitely expanded upon really like the temptations of life and personal and emotional relationships and things like that, right? Sometimes temptations will get the best of you, but also at the same time temptations are also a great way to learn lessons, right? Definitely one of those things that's like very important. And one other thing about this track as well is for an 11 track album, this would definitely make me want to continue to listen to the album, right? Whenever we get submitted albums and we listen to the first track, that's something I always consider is like, is this a banger first track, right? Is this gonna make me as a listener kind of want to go back and continue listening to this album? Yeah, this is definitely one. Absolutely, this is definitely one of those, especially if like you're into this kind of like indie rock, classical modern rock sound here. This is definitely an album for you. Definitely. So huge shout out to Tracy Cloud, man. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify, and of course, make sure you follow Tracy on Twitter. They're posting 1.2K on the Bird app, my friends. Make sure you go show them some love on Twitter. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, Make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 subaroonies on the main channel. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, segments, a lot of good stuff is available over there on the channel. And per usual, huge shout out to everybody else that's already subbed, man. I see you guys dropping likes, dropping comments, all that good stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, let's see here. So up next we have a third first. No, is it okay? Yes, it's a third. So we had 3 first-time submitting artists in a row. And we have Elite Lizard, Lizzie J. Campbell, the Elite Lizard Publishing Company. So this is a Canadian publisher. Now, we never get these kind of submissions anymore, even though we really want them. Sometimes we'll get photography ones. We'll get a lot of art ones for sure. But this is definitely a interesting kind of submission. So they actually sent a Behance folder, and I wanted to make sure emails didn't pop up there. So, and that because I'm not logged in, and I need to go back and re-log in. But let's take a look here. So, artist, illustrator, painter, the Elite Lizard Publishing. We got a link tree there as well. Cornwall, Ontario, Canada. Full-time, freelance, subscribe. Okay. Project views, 25K. Appreciations, 708 followers. Look at all this work. Wow. Okay. Got a resume there as well. I'm an artist both digitally and traditionally. I'm a children's book illustrator and all genre cover artist, book publisher. Okay, so let's flick through some of these because these just got to be crazy, bro. These 100% got to be crazy. Oh yeah, wow. Wait, what the fuck? Wait. Is there like a video version? Oh no way. Oh yeah, this is tough. This is very fucking tough. Wow. Okay. That piece is fucking crazy. So, a mix of painting and digital art as well. Now, when it comes to skills like that, I feel like that's like very fucking important. Like very, very fucking important. Because some artists are a mix, and then some artists are like, they can do a lot, right? Or some artists are really dedicated to one piece of their craft. This is, what the fuck? No way, man. Ninja Warrior Anime Digital Artwork Collection. What the fuck? Wait a second. Huh. We gotta see more of these children's designs as well. That one's tough. Some of these are so crazy. Like, what the fuck? That's really nuts. That one is really fucking tough. Wait. No way, man. No fucking way. See, getting one of these for a cover art for a track would be nuts. Really nuts. This one's crazy too. Wow. Holy fuck. I wonder what programs they use? I'm definitely curious now. This is really crazy. That is really, really crazy. Holy shit. This is an oil painting? No way. Holy shit. Wow. Okay, yeah. See, I love getting to showcase these kind of designers on the show just because people need these resources of people to commission, people to support, people to like find for certain projects. Wow. This is crazy. This is quite the portfolio. Holy shit. I got some mood boards as well. That's fire. That is so fire. Yeah, we've definitely showcased our fair share of designers here on the show. Whether they be digital designers, painters, other forms of artwork and things like that. It's very important to our space because a lot of those things cross pollinate, right? And a lot of those things kind of relate to each other. A lot of musicians are also artists, a lot of painters are also musicians, a lot of engineers are also artists, you know what I mean? So we like to showcase all types of creatives here on the show. So this was a really, really awesome showcase. Really awesome show. Huge shout out to Lizzie. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you go contact Lizzie on Behance if you're interested in any of their work. And of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter as well. They're approaching 1.3K on the Bird app. They're like 15 away. Go show them some love over there. And of course, every art's featured in today's episode, and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Music Monday's YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 subscribers on the main channel, my friend. So make sure you go show these artists in the main channel some love. And of course, we upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff's available there. So go show these artists in the channel some love. And if you already have, thank you. So we left off with the homie Lizzie, and up next would be the homie TDG, but TDG is currently a Music Mondays Patreon, so we had already reacted to their submission way earlier in the stream. Feel free to jump back and check that out. Huge shout out to TDG. But up next, we got the homie, No Name Dread. Now, Dread's been on a tear as of recently, right? Dread's been not only submitting pretty frequently, but they've also been dropping pretty frequently. So I'm definitely excited to see what Dread's been up to, man, because these drops have been really nutty. But a very talented alternative hip-hop vocalist and producer submitted a track titled Better. Let's see what we got here. Pop it, open a new tab, pause that right quick. 4 days, brand new. This cover art is very hard. It's got that like 90s analog anime aesthetic for sure. Let's get into it. No Name Dread, Better.
Ain't been myself in the longest, I'm just being honest. I try to change, but just another broken promise. Guilty conscience, it's nonsense that I believe. These harmonies are really haunting me. Apologies, my stock ain't rise up like who fathered me. The same disease that slowly rots out what's inside the leaves. You know regen is gone forever, so what's stopping me? It's just me, myself, and I. That's some fucked up psychology. This part of me, a partial part of me wants to depart from me. My artery misled, I bit the bit, now shadows following. Halloween, lost it in the folder, now my heart turned cold. So my soul, brand the trick, and ain't no treat like Halloween. No better in me, I got the venom in me. I ain't heaven sent, no repent, the devil in me. Paint my pain up on these pages, dog, reverse it, you'll see that I'm a god, not like you others, so don't bark up that tree. Ain't no better in me, I got the venom in me. I ain't heaven sent, no repent, the devil in me. Paint my pain up on these pages, dog, reverse it, you'll see that I'm a god, not like you others, so don't bark up that tree.
Damn. Fuck. Fuck. Okay. That was crazy. That's the shit I'm talking about with Dread, man. It's got this like, got this insane energy to it. It really does. It's something else. It's something else. Let's break this one down. So we're gonna talk about three things here. Talk about the instrumental. Talk about vocals. Talk about the overall theme of Better. Relatively obvious theme for sure, but we're still gonna break it down definitely. Let's talk instrumental. I assume self prod for sure. Just because Dread's been on that kind of self production tear with a lot of their recent tracks. So when it comes to the instrumental, mix is great. Nothing clashing too overbearing. Dread is an artist where you could pretty much always count on a relatively solid mix from them. Not really a shocker, you know what I mean? Drums are very solid, sound selection solid, nothing clashing too overbearing. Vocals sit really nice, everything guts through nice. I mean, no gripes, but you always got to point it out, right? Dread has definitely a very consistent instrumental mix and mix in general. Instrumental Shining Star. So, I really like the drums, but the melody kind of brings that like old school hip hop kind of vibe, for sure. But the drums are like right up there, bro. Really right up there. I'm probably gonna go ahead and say drums to be honest with you, just because they keep up the bounce, but like they add a little bit of that aggression too, for sure, definitely. So let's talk vocals. I like Dread's mix lately, for sure. I'm not sure if they're just recording differently, because I'm sure nothing's really changed with their mix, or maybe it has. But they really like go above and beyond, for sure. Like they just have this certain style that I feel like nobody could replicate and like really try to like copy or like box in. You know what I mean? Like Dread has this like dark, dreary, but also like lighter, kind of interesting vocal style. When it comes to their mix, man, it's always on point. For the most part, no matter what style it is in. You know what I mean? And that's very much the case here. Very much a super solid mix, nothing clashing too overbearing. Drums cut through nice, vocals sit nice on the instrumental. No gripes, but again, you always got to mention it for sure. Vocal Shining Star. I like the hook a lot, but like the flow and cadence with it all, like throughout the whole track, is really fucking solid. But I also the hook and the writing though, like the hook and the writing is like, man, probably the hook. The hook is what's gonna get stuck in your head, but the flow and cadence throughout the whole track is like A1. That's definitely a close second, but probably the hook, to be honest with you. Super catchy and like it'll definitely get like knocked in your head, definitely. Um, so instrumental solid, definitely the drums. Vocal solid, definitely the hook. Writing's a close second. Flow and cadence definitely a close second too. Let's talk theme. So, simple approach to the aesthetics really. 90s analog anime kind of art. Nice still from like some underground shit that I'm sure if you know it, you know it, but if you don't, you're probably never gonna find it. It's just one of those, or you might come across it one day, but definitely a solid choice nonetheless. I always like these for sure, especially for a single. Um, Definitely solid. Overall theme, better, quite literally better. Um, Dread kind of explains and gets off their chest how they're better than most, and also that like he doesn't really want to associate with anybody else either. You know what I mean? Um, it's somewhat of a cocky track, but it's also not really. It's just Dread kind of like stating how they feel. You know what I mean? Like being like very honest and being like, I don't give a fuck type shit. This is like very much where this track will lead you to. Because I don't get a very like cocky attitude here. I get a very like I don't give a fuck, and this is like how it is. You know what I mean? And Dredd definitely like expanded upon that and was like, okay, fuck this. And the hook kind of like really explains it all, to be honest with you. But the verses kind of back it up in the aspect that it's not really a cocky song and it's more of like a statement. So I like this theme a lot for sure. Really well written. But huge shout out to Dredd, man. Make sure you follow Dredd on SoundCloud. There, 9 follows away from 230. Go show him some love over there. And of course, make sure you follow Dredd on Twitter. Dredd is 10 follows away from 130, man, over there on the Bird app. So go show Dredd some love, man. God damn it. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode. Yeah, you guys know the drill. I was gonna say something else. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, man! Make sure you sub the channel. 210 subs. We're 2 away. We're at 208. Go show the channel some love, and these are some love. And per usual, we upload 2 times a week. Every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, all that good stuff's available over there. So go show the channel some love. But up next, we got the homie Lil Wet Wet. So I think we reacted to some Wet Wet. If it wasn't last week, it was the week before. So I'm definitely excited to get into this one because this one's a music video. And it's the official video for Sonic Chronicles. Now, Wet Wet's a very, very talented alternative artist, director, engineer. Like, you name it, Wet Wet's been on it. And like I said, they submitted Sonic Chronicles. So, let's pop this open a new tab and see what we got here, chat. Bang. What's up? Pause that right quick. Bam. No, pause. Wait, I'm not ready. Okay. And then we're going to 1080 because we're streaming. And then full screen. Stop auto playing. Okay, let's get into it. Lil Wet Wet, Bedhead, Sonic Chronicles, official video. Let's go. I like this aspect ratio. I like how they opted for this ratio. I don't know why.
Overthinking why you didn't text me back. Is it because I fucked your friend? Or is it because I'm gay now? Sonic Chronicles, Nintendo DS playthrough. I can watch every minute, but I can't relive the feeling. Underwhelming in the way that you react when I tell you my new name and I'm a girl now. Unrelated, but I know that it's a fact that you used to use those slurs and it would hurt now.
Oh shit.
And I can't be anything but honest. I'm sorry, but the life that I wanted doesn't fit any mold that I saw in my childhood. I know you tried hard just to stop it. Overthinking why you didn't text me back. Is it because you fucked my friend who turned out not to really be my friend? Sonic Chronicles, Nintendo DS playthrough. I can buy it on the internet, but that won't make me 13 again.
What the fuck?
Sequel that I haven't even seen yet. I heard it's good and I can watch it on the internet. Sonic comics I would download on my iPod. I used to read them in the hotel room before I slept. And I wept for days 'cause I kept
Oh
being
shit.
awake and my thoughts were a maze. I was young, so afraid.
Wow.
Fuck it, dude. Who else got it, huh?
What the fuck, bro? Wait, bro. Right out the rip, Wet Wet just hits us with the fucking heater line. Like, damn. This was... Wow. Okay. Alright. Lots to talk about here. Let's break this down. Okay, so, we're talking about three things, right? We're gonna talk about the instrumental, we're gonna talk about vocals, and we're gonna talk about the music video as well. So, actually, let's check description because we didn't do that before we started. Broad Homecoming Queen, directed and edited by Wet Wet, shot by Corey, Wet Wet and Bedhead, hair and makeup by Ozzy. Got the links. This is a nice song. Sonic movie sequel that I haven't seen yet. Sonic Chronicles Nintendo DS playthrough. Yo, what the fuck? Yeah, nah, that's gold. Okay, what a nostalgic yet like current kind of track. And I'm big on fucking nostalgia, so this like slapped me in the face. And then like with Wet Wet and Bedhead talking like about, you know, their experience with being trans and you know, life-changing events and kind of like looking back on when you were younger. It's like such a wild mix of nostalgia and like, wow. Okay. So again, let's talk instrumental first. So, I mean, instrumental's great, to be honest with you. There really hasn't been an instrumental that Wet Wet or Bedhead have hopped on that's like, you know, kind of questionable. I feel like everything that they've done is like really top tier. Their choice and their flavor of instrumental is super super awesome, super fucking awesome. And you know, a Homecoming Queen is also like a prod that goes really well with these two. In reality, no matter what they do, right, I feel like they do a really good job together. So again, when that comes to the mix is great. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Both of their vocals sit well. No gripes. I like the drums a lot too. Mel's perfect. It's really up there, to be honest with you. It's really, really up there. As far as like how level and how like tight and well rounded it is, perfect. Definitely perfect. So mix is solid. Instrumental Shining Star. I really like the melody. I feel like the melody can just like easily get stuck in your head. And plus it's a perfect melody for these two. I feel like they sound very good on this like kind of pop electronic dance like melodies. So definitely the melody, but the drums are a close second. Drums are definitely a close second. I like the structure too, but definitely the melody. Let's talk vocals. So much like the instrumental, these two have a very particular vocal style when it comes to any track that they do, and they never miss on it, right? I feel like they hit all the boxes with what they want to do, but also sound very crisp and clean. And this is definitely a great example of that. You know, again, no gripes. I feel like they have the perfect amount of processing, but also perfect amount of motion that's like left in the vocals, right? Because sometimes like if you engineer your vocals too crazy sometimes on certain songs, it leaves out emotion that you'd otherwise want in the track. And emotion as in like attitude or the way you say things or like how things are delivered, right? But I feel like their mix is like right in that sweet spot where you can still get a lot of the emotion, but the processing is still there. So yeah, mix is great. Definitely great for both of them. So vocal Shining Star, man. Flow and cadence is great, but this writing kind of like, I was like, whoa, because Wet Wet pops out right out the gate, and they're just like, bam, You know what I mean? And it sets the stage for like what kind of song this is about to be. And then they start adding in like the sonic bars and like a little bit of that writing too. So it's like, whoa, you kind of have like such an original, interesting concept here. Something that I've never seen on the show. Um, that mixes like current personal feelings with like nostalgic feelings from when you were little, right? So, um, yeah, not even a question. It's the writing, but flow and cadence is right there for sure. But definitely the writing. Um, so instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Vocal solid, definitely the writing. So let's talk about the video. So again, it's been a while since we've heard, or I guess seen a Wet Wet video, and this one is insane. Like insane. You know, I said this about the aspect ratio the last time, or like one of the last videos, and I still feel that same way. Like I just like this aspect ratio for some strange reason. Um, it has that like again kind of like nostalgic feel, but also like very much like DIY feel, and it feels like found footage almost, or like home movie kind of feel. So just the small things like this aspect ratio that kind of bring that and add on to that nostalgic kind of feel. So that's one thing I really liked. And then um the lyrics at the bottom are always so clutch for like any new listener or somebody who's not familiar with Wet Wet's videos or music or anything like that. Um the lyrics are just excellent. Just a nice subtle touch, you know what I mean? They're not like boom, like flashing in the middle of the fucking screen and shit. Like, no, it's just very subtle at the bottom, and I think that has always fit really well, and I'm definitely glad it's on this one. Um, so the editing was definitely something that I thought was really solid, but I think what put it over for me was the addition of more kind of Sonic clips, the Sonic DS clips, the comics, like that, like totally put this over the nostalgia factor for me. And I think they nailed it when it comes to like putting putting the feeling that this song would give you into a visual aspect, right? And especially for like what exactly they did, like this was easily filmed in a day or even 2 days, and super simple, one location, and you kind of just go fucking hard with it, and then fill it in with a lot of these Sonic clips and you know the Sonic comics and a lot of that shit. It really kind of brings it all together. You know what I mean? It really brings it up to that like, you know, how I'm feeling now, mixing with like that nostalgic kind of feeling you get remembering your childhood from when you were smaller and realizing how much things have changed and how much people have changed, right? So I feel like it's very like reflective but also current kind of track. And I like the originality here, and I definitely feel like this is one of the tracks that like is a classic in the Wet Wet library, along with Bedhead for sure. So huge shout out to Lil Wet Wet, man. That was wow. That was awesome. Make sure you go sub to Wet Wet's channel. They are approaching 310 subroonies. They are 5 away. And of course, make sure you go follow them on Twitter as well. They are 2 follows away from 360. Go show them some love on the Bird app, man. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 subroonies. We are 2 away, man. We're at 208. So go show us some love on YouTube and go show these artists some love as well. And of course, huge shout out to everybody that already is subscribed, dropping likes, dropping comments, doing all that good stuff. We appreciate you. Your Music Mondays, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, up next we got the homie Halloween on top. Now it's been some months since we've heard from the homie Halloween. I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely been some months. Let's see what we got here. So they submitted a track titled Optimus Prime. Now this could be very, very interesting. Halloween on top, a alternative hip hop artist, aka Mr. Halloween. See what we got here. So we got the homie Widow Black on here and Mr. Halloween. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, Widow Black. Yeah, because I remember Spider-Man. Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah. I see. All right, let's get into it. Optimus Prime, Widow Black, Mr. Halloween. Let's go. Synth is crazy.
Pull up to the spot in the black and gray Subaru. I'm older than a dinosaur, but maybe could be new to you. I meditate in altered states like trippy dippy Buddhas do. I'll levitate and bear my fate if we don't vibe into a room. Say goodbye, then I warp into a new form. Die within and shed my skin cause I was getting too warm. Big flames, smoking ciggies near the campfire. I don't wanna hear you rat these bullfrogs be my damn choir. Ate this shroom, now I see like an owl do. I just dumped a gooey loco, you pass me a towel bitch. I rock a classic shoe, Adidas with the gum soles. And only fuck with freaky bitches that'll lit my butthole. Mask on my face and I'm playing the win. I got some blood and I'm mixing with gin. You tapping my face and I'm breaking your chin. The God and the devil, the yang and the yin. I'm all in, cause one day you'll be down in the dirt. So I'ma get this money and these bitches while I live on earth. I'm lipstick cold. Put the seats inside and give a dirty look. Slaying all the time. Big wheels spinning jars, drop the wish of shine. Colors keep changing, transform like a real time. Sticking cold, let the seats inside and give a dirty look. Slaying all the time. Big wheels spinning jars, drop the wish of shine. Colors keep changing, transform like a real time.
Huh. Okay. That was a very like it wasn't like obscure like experimental, but it was definitely like on the like the alternative like scale for sure. Well done. So let's break this down. We're gonna talk about three things here. We'll talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Optimus Prime. So, let's talk instrumental. So this synth and this melody come in so fucking hot at the start of this track. It's almost a bit overbearing, but then you kind of like get used to it and you're like, okay. I kind of see how it rolled. But the mix is solid, pretty level, nothing clashing too overbearing that I thought was kind of like in the way. It's nice and tight and level. It's not like a super theatrical kind of mix. It's doing what it needs to do for sure. So the mix is solid, absolutely. Instrumental shining star. Probably the structure. I'm not gonna lie. The structure definitely caught me off guard with how well it was kind of like progressing, and I was like, okay. The producer did a really good job, kind of not keeping it repetitive and kind of keeping it fresh. You know what I mean? So definitely the structure here like struck me in a certain way for sure. So, instrumental solid, definitely structure. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix was pretty solid. Nothing too clashy, too overbearing. Drums cut through nicely. Everything kind of chilled nicely. Everything was kind of pretty coexisting. Yeah, not too many gripes with the vocals, to be honest with you. Solid for what it was, and definitely for what they were going for. Absolutely. And again, nothing clashing, too overbearing. Everything sits nicely on the instrumental. Not too many gripes whatsoever. Vocal shining star, definitely the flow and cadence. The flow and cadence gave me like a very classic hip hop feel with a little bit of like a darker spin on the delivery. But the flow and cadence was really up there for me. definitely something you'd come back for, especially if you enjoy these two. Definitely Flow and Cadence, 100%. So instrumental solid. Definitely structure. Vocal solid, definitely Flow and Cadence. A suck theme. So, however, is interesting, right? It definitely has like a simpler approach to it. It's not too like flashy, but it's also kind of like one of those covers that you're gonna absolutely remember when it comes to a track that you like. You know what I mean? You're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like that's that cover right there. So it definitely does have that effect, but they definitely took the simpler approach and pretty solid for a single. Definitely. I think it gets the job done, if you will. Overall theme. This was definitely more of a lyrical showcase than this was like a song about Optimus Prime, right? It's in the hook and there's definitely like a couple supporting lines. But other than that, it's definitely more of a lyrical showcase between these two and really kind of pushing the limits with their writing and kind of showing off their lyricism as well. So I definitely think that that was the direction that they went in with this, especially just kind of collabing with each other, right? So relatively solid theme, but you know, of course, like you don't necessarily need to have like a concrete this got to be the theme, it's got to be about this, you got to say this. Like it doesn't always need to be like that, especially with these kind of genres. Some of them are just, more so lyricism tracks, and this is definitely one of those. So with that said, a huge shout out to Mr. Halloween. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you follow them on Spotify. And of course, make sure you follow Halloween on top on Twitter. They're approaching 2.4K on the Bird app, my friends. Make sure you go show them some love. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 sub-earnings on the main channel, my friends. We upload 2 times a week, literally. So every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff's available over there on the channel, my friends. So make sure you go show these artists in the channel some love. And if you already have, thank you, my friends. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays. So we left off with the homie Mr. Halloween, but up next is the homie Braden. Gotta be one of the most consistent artists of 2023 of the podcast, of literally anywhere, man. But a very talented alternative vocalist submitted a track titled Love Songs. See what we got here. Pop this open a new tab, Rooney, and we got the homie Braden. We got the homie It's Fits. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Love Songs. I'm down for the cause. Let's get into it. Braden, Love Songs. Let's go. Gonna be crazy. No way. Dude.
Begging for a kiss. Now she all up in my DMs, throwing up these fits. Now we're hitting me up, he wanna throw fists. So it's better off if I'm leaving. Ice on my neck and my wrist still freezing. I don't know how I'm feeling, you left me bleeding. And I'm so sick of
Dude. Nah. What the fuck? No way, dude.
day. Yeah, every single day. The only thing I feel is love songs, love songs, love songs, love songs, love songs, love songs, love songs. Every single day, every single day. The only thing I feel is
Wow, bro. Are are we serious right now? Like what are we even about to talk about, bro? Are you serious? That was fucking crazy. Okay. All right. Let's break this one down. We're talking about three things here. We're talking about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of love songs. So, man, oh man. All right, let's talk instrumental. Instrumental was fantastic. Like the mix is fucking out of this world. Drums knock, vocals sit wonderfully, melodies are great, nothing clashing at all. I would definitely, yeah. Now there's no gripes, to be honest with you. Like thinking back on it, no gripes whatsoever. Like even down the structure, like mix is just out of this world for sure. So the mix is stellar, and coming from Braden, it's not really like a super shocker, right? That's definitely something that's like, um, pretty standard when it comes to Braden. But this was one where, um, you always got to point it out, right? So instrumental mix is solid. Instrumental shining star. Probably the melody. I like the drums a lot, but probably the melody. The melody is very memorable and very catchy, but the drums are right up there too, though. And I like the structure a lot. Probably the melody. Probably the melody for sure. So the instrumental solid, shining stars and melody. Let's talk vocals here. So we have the homie Braden and the homie It's Fits. So man, well, I mean, speaking on the mix, these two absolutely sound great together. Like especially in this track, I don't know if it was like just this song or what, but these two sound really fucking good together. I don't know why I like this duo a lot, but I feel like they can hop on instrumentals like this like a lot for sure. But as far as the mix goes, excellent. Everything sits really, really solid on the instrumental. Everything cuts through nicely. Nothing clashing too overbearing at all. Yeah, Braden sounds really, really solid on this. And this was our first experience with Fitz, and I feel like they both did really well together. That's why I say I feel like it's a pretty underrated duo. I like most duos that Braden comes through with, to be honest with you. So the vocals are great. Vocal shining star. So much I like about it, right? Like the writing, the hook, flowing cadence, the delivery. Like, it's hard for me to pick one of those. I felt like I've had a lot of that tonight where it was hard to pick like just one that was like really standout-ish. I love the hook though, man. The hook's gonna be one of those things again that just kind of brings people back and they're like, oh, this fucking bangs. You're like, oh shit. So probably the hook for me. Probably the hook for me. Definitely. Let's talk theme here. Aesthetics. Braden's back with another relatively interesting cover, because usually Braden always this kind of style, right? But this one definitely has a little bit of a nod to the actual track, right? This is definitely more of like a love-centered cover, right? He's just holding up a heart, but it's like fuck. And you guys know how I feel about our Braden style, right? I mean, a lot of these are just super cool. Super cool and super consistent. And like I always say, you don't necessarily need to, follow that unwritten rule. But if you do, it always comes out looking cool, right? Especially if it's like shit that you enjoy. So very, very cool. So aesthetics on point, overall theme, kind of an obvious one, but realistically, I think Braden did a really good job kind of making it like palatable and like super understandable for like any kind of listener. You know what I mean? Like even if they've never heard of Braden, you're gonna be able to get behind that, especially like get behind the inspiration of it, right? Because everybody knows that like it just brought so many cool elements together, right? Because it wasn't exactly like a sample or cover, but it definitely like paid homage, and it was also accurately written. Like the writing was really, really fucking on point, especially in the hook, right? I think Braden was just very simple with it. You know what I mean? Sick of the love songs, sick of this, that, and the third, and there's so many things that Braden like expanded upon that are not only relatable to a lot of people, but also like again kind of it's the point across. You know what I mean? Like these songs are like very enjoyable to make in that aspect where you're just getting shit off your chest and you're just like, okay, like I know how I'm gonna like deal with X, Y, or Z, or go about this or go about that with this writing. Like I think Braden did a really good job kind of bringing all this together, and really making a track about love in general, to be honest with you. But also Braden does a good job kind of breaking it down. So with that said, a huge shout out to Braden. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much, much love. And make sure you follow Braden on Spotify. And of course, make sure you follow Braden on Twitter. They are 1 follow away from 40, man, or 11 away from 50. So go show them some love on the Bird app. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 sub-roonies. We're like 2 away, man. We're at 2 away. So make sure you go show the channel some love. And go show these artists some love. And of course, huge shout out to everybody that's already subscribed to the main channel, man. You guys are amazing. Thank you for showing support to Music Mondays. Vac, what's good? I hope you're well. Happy Monday, my friend. Welcome on in. So, wow, that was a trip, bro. Braden just came in and fucking destroyed. That was nutty. All right, up next, we got the homie, Offspring Mysterious. Now, Offspring's been killing it with the music art, killing it with a lot of the production, and really in general, to be honest with you. I know Offspring did a lot of editions of music art, so very, very cool to see these like consistently pumped out. Like it's just crazy. But a multi-talented artist, producer, designer, writer, editor, you name it, Offspring is there. So they submitted music art confession / new life. Let's see what we got here. Bam. Pop this open a new tab. Bam. Pop that right quick. Let's go a quick 1080. Unmute it. Oh. Uh-oh. Solid description for sure. Okay. Let's get into it. Offspring Mysterious, music art confession / new life. Let's go. Oh shit. Offspring. Welcome on in, Naomi. I hope you're well. Happy Mother Truckin' Monday. Oh god. It's like, bro, it's love. Aw, shit. Okay. Okay. So this was like simple, but like very effective. So this is very interesting because this is one of the ones where I feel like if you didn't have the description, you might be at a loss. But the description helps greatly on this one. And I like the simple concept of this a lot. So let's break this down. We're going to talk about two things. Talk about the instrumental, and we're talk about the music art. So, let's talk instrumental. Instrumental is super, super, super fucking solid. I noticed right off the rip, I was like, oh yeah, this is like an Offspring OG for sure. The fast-paced drums, the mel, everything was on point. But when it comes to the mix was very solid. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Mel's great. Everything sits nice. Everything's kind of chilling in its own space. Drums are solid. Sound selection's good. No gripes. No gripes with the instrumental mix at all. Instrumental Shining Star. You know, the melody is definitely up there, but what really sold me, like I said, was probably the drums, to be honest with you. Fast-paced, bouncy. The percussions were really solid. And again, the sound selection was like right up there for me. So definitely the drums, but the mel is like a close second. So the instrumental solid. Definitely the drums. Let's talk music art. So, again, this is not really like our typical edition of music art. This one's more of like a simple concept, and we've seen simple concepts from Offspring, and this one was more of like, it was almost like a canon event in the Offspring world, especially this dropping back in March. So a lot of stuff has followed this up, and there's a lot of music art editions that we definitely have to catch up on and to see where this goes, because this is one that kind of like leaves you on a cliffhanger, but also kind of like you understand it. You know what I mean? Like, you're pretty much there and you're like, oh shit. So, considering this dropped in March, again, there's probably a whole follow-up to this, and there's a whole lot that we haven't seen on the show yet. So, I'm definitely excited to see where Offspring goes with this and in future content. Music art Shining Star. Definitely the concept itself. The simplicity of it, right? And then the slight edits and kind of like making this like a more personal one than it is kind of like the usual Offspring kind of antics. This one felt more personal and a little bit more like intimate as well. So, well done. Well done. This was a really solid one, if I'm being honest. So, huge shout out to Offspring series. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much, much love. Make sure you follow Offspring on YouTube. They are 6 subs away from 140. Go show Offspring some love. And of course, make sure you follow Offspring on Twitter. They are 2 followers away from 850. Go show them some love in the bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 subaroonies on the main channel. And huge shout out to everybody that's already subscribed to the main channel, my friends. You guys are amazing, and I see you dropping likes, dropping comments, and all that good stuff. Huge shout out to Offspring, though. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Up next, we have the homie GIE. Now, this is definitely a first-time submitting artist, for sure. And they submitted a music video directed by Dylan Cole titled New Highs. Okay, first-time submitting artist plus a music video. I think we're in for it. We are definitely in for it. So obviously we're gonna go in blind. Wait, what do you mean sensitive content? We'll see. We'll just do a quick fucking scroll through here. Check this out. I mean, if it's on YouTube, it's not like horrid, but We'll see. Huh. Damn, this looks kind of intense. 2 weeks ago. New High's official music video, directed by Dylan Cole, edit and colored by Dylan Cole, produced by Conflicting Thoughts. Huh. Lots of love in the comments for sure. Wow, lots of fucking love. What the fuck? Hella love. That's fire. Alright, let's get into it. First time submitting artist. GIE, New Highs. Official music video. Let's go. Shot's fucking crazy. Damn, man. This was really hard. I like this video a lot. This is one of the craziest videos we've seen in quite a while. Definitely some months. Damn. That was fucking gas. That was gas. Wait. What the fuck? Okay. That also a first time submitting artist submitting that was like holy shit. Usually shit like this is from people that like, you know, always submit to the show, but this is wow. Okay. Well done. Definitely well done. All right. Much to talk about here. So we're gonna talk about three things. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, we're talking about vocals, and we're talking about the video for sure. So, let's talk instrumental. This is a very like alternative kind of chill approach for the instrumental, and I really like it a lot, to be honest with you. The mix was impeccable though. Like the melodies were great, The drums were great. The layout was great. The structure was great. I had no gripes with this at all. Honestly, I feel like the mix is something you could overlook just because you're so like, immersed in the video. And I feel like you don't like you could really overlook the fact that your mix is like, or this mix is like insane. You know what I mean? Like this is a very crisp and solid mix. Yeah, no gripes, to be honest with you. Yeah, drums are solid. Nothing clashing at all. Vocals sit nice in the instrumental. Everything cuts through nicely. Yeah, no instrumental gripes at all. Instrumental Shining Star is definitely the melody though. I like the drums a lot, but the melody was definitely up there. The melody was absolutely up there. It's so recognizable, and again, it's gonna be one of those things that you always come back for in this track. It's definitely gonna be the melody. Definitely. So the instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Let's talk vocals here. I like these vocals a lot. To be honest with you, because the mix is like, it's definitely processed, but it's not like overly processed as to where it takes out a lot of the emotion in this track. I feel like all the emotion was still there. Everything else was still like it was up there. So like the processing was great, and it was just raw enough to kind of pick up on the emotion and like the actual melodic elements of the vocals here for sure. And again, I love the way that they sat on the instrumental. Yeah, no gripes, and plus everything cut through super nice. So vocal mix definitely solid. Vocal Shining Star is probably the hook. Like I definitely like the verses, but the hook is again something that's so catchy, and it's gonna be like, you're either gonna love it first try or it's gonna grow on you. You know what I mean? There's kind of like no in between, and this is one of those growers that kind of like you can listen to it over and over again. And you're like, damn, I love this song. You know what I mean? Or you're just gonna like it right from the rip. Like, holy shit, it's crazy. So the hook was definitely right up there for me for Shining Star. Writing obviously was definitely right up there. Flow and cadence was really nice too. That was definitely underrated, but hook is really kind of slamming it for me. Definitely the hook. So instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Vocal solid, definitely the hook. Writing's a close second. Let's talk about the video here. So the relatively like, it's a very real kind of video in the aspect that like there are a lot of people out here that could relate to this, right? And could relate to just life, addiction, mental health. They could relate to it all, right? Especially men. Because at the end, we have that support men's mental health screen, right? And it's like, it's one of those tracks that's like really fucking important, but it's not like corny. It's very graphic, and it's very like, it doesn't pull any punches. You know, and the things that are talked about throughout this track are very real. You know what I mean? It's very much an important topic, especially in 2023. Mainly addiction and mental health, and even more so in men, right? Because a lot of men feel like they have to be, you know, strong and this, that, and the third, and end up crumbling because they try to play that role, and not everybody needs to be that role. You know what I mean? And everybody needs somebody. So I feel like this writing and the video itself is very, very important. But it's done in the right way. Because like I said, it's not corny or anything like that. And like talking about mental health isn't corny, right? It's not that. It's just more so like people do it in weird ways that like doesn't get the point across. For me and the person that I am, right? Artist, listener, creative, all of it. This is what I would resonate more with because I've lost 4 friends that I've only met online to drugs and mental health. And I've lost 2 IRL that I've known for years to drugs. And I'm only 26. And the majority of them being men. 2 were women and the rest were men. And you know, with this video being so dark and graphic and things like that, I feel like this is, and it's not like graphic, it's just, it's got that aura to it, right? It has that sense of dread, almost sense of like endlessness, almost like it has a dreary feeling to it. And I feel like that's how you could perfectly describe a lot of this, right? And I think this needs to be shown to people that like don't understand this shit. And I feel like this was done in like the perfect way, and I'm sure everybody involved loved the outcome. Just because it's such an important track and such an important video, but I feel like this needs to be shown. You know what I mean? This needs to be shown in a correct fashion as to where it's not like gory and bloody, but it's very much like you see the dark side of things, right? Crash car, eviction notice, addiction, and then mental health. Right? And that's something that men and women, of course, go through all the fucking time without anybody to talk to, without anybody there for them, and this, that, and the third. And don't get me wrong, there's people that like are just don't want to help themselves. You know what I mean? Like, there's gonna be people in that, you know, section where they're not ready for help and they don't care. But for the people that try to help themselves and keep falling and, you know, this, that, and the third, and we definitely got to watch out for those people. I think people like that are important, and everybody can get better and change, right? That's the number one thing that you like always got to remember. So back to the actual video. This has got like probably like 3 or 4 locations, right? Filmed in 4K, super solid. Has this like insane slight edit to it where it's got this grainy kind of like old style film feel. But I feel like that's what brings it to like a whole new level, and it brings it to like this fucking like documentary almost, right? Like some shit you'd see on like you know, like A&E or something like that. It has that doc feel to it. It's really crazy. And I think it was executed perfectly. You know what I mean? Because like it didn't like like it might trigger some people, but like me as a person who's like been through a lot of this shit and seen a lot of this shit, like this is like important, you know what I mean? And more importantly than all of that, the number one thing is it's important for artists to get this out, right? Get a lot of these thoughts out in a healthy way. It's better than drugs, it's better than drinking, it's better than partying, it's better than doing dumb self-destructive shit. If you can go do this without, you know, hurting anybody or hurting yourself, this is the kind of shit where I feel like it does wonders for you, right? Like and for some people it does more than like even real therapy, like because you're actually getting your thoughts out, and you're getting your thoughts out to the world, not just like one person. You know what I mean? Like you're getting all of it out in the way that you want to. So again, I feel like not only the video kind of backed all this up, but I feel like this is one that like definitely will hit home for a lot of people, and I'm glad we got to get to this one tonight. This one was very important, and always support mental health and men's mental health, always. But huge shout out to GIE, man, and Conflicting Thoughts and the whole crew involved in this video, because this was crazy. Was a pleasure. Was definitely a pleasure. And again, huge shout out to GIE and Conflicting Thoughts. Make sure you go sub to their channel. About 9 subs away from 480. And of course, make sure you follow GIE on Twitter. They are 10 away from 30. Go show them some love on the bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 subroonies, my friends. We're about 2 away, man. We are at 208 subscribers. So you guys know the drill, man. Go show these guys some love and go show the channel some love. And if you already have, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we see you dropping likes, dropping comments, all that good stuff. And we appreciate you. So, let's get into it. Up next, we have the homie Lil Ollie Pop. Now, it's been some weeks since we heard from Ollie, man. Super talented producer, vocalist, and they submitted a track titled Pictures Painted in an Empty Space. Now, this could be pretty crazy. This could definitely be pretty crazy. So, let's see what we got here, because it's been some time since we heard from the homie Ollie, man. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, this art is crazy. Art by the homie Millsy. Yeah, that shit is fucking cooked. This is really solid. All right, let's get into it. Lil Lollipop, Pictures Painted in an Empty Space. Okay. This is solid, man. Bro, that guitar is so good, man. Holy shit. The whole beat is fucking crazy. Alright, man. Alright. Fucking shout out Ollie, man. That was a pleasure. Let's break this one down though. So, we're talking about three things here, chat. We're talking about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Pictures Painted in an Empty Space. Instrumental. Let's talk. Mix is great, especially for what this is. There's a lot more live instruments here than there is processed, and the mix is stellar. Drums are great, sound selection is great, nothing clashing to overbearing. I love the structure as well. Vocals sit nice, everything cuts to nice. Not one gripe with this instrumental mix. This is a crazy instrumental. I see why Olipop picked this for sure. But the instrumental, very, very solid. Very solid. Instrumental Shining Star. I'm big on these melodies, but the drums and the structure also kind of got me too. I really like the structure though. I think I just might say the structure just because it like, I don't know, it just progresses the song in such a crazy way, man. It's just, yeah, probably the structure, but the melodies are like right behind it though. Melodies are definitely right behind it. So instrumental solid, definitely the structure. Let's talk vocals. So Ollie's mix is great here. On their vocals, I definitely think they did a really good job on the mix. Um, sits nice on the instrumental, not like overly raw or overly processed. It has that nice middle ground where like it sounds crisp and clean, again it kind of leaves a lot of that emotion in there that you'd want. So I think the mix is very solid, very very solid. And like I said, it sits nice on the instrumental. Everything cuts through nice, very tight and well rounded. Absolutely. Um, Vocal Shining Star. This one, shit. Cause I love this hook and I don't know. The writing was really solid too, but the flow and cadence is also really up there. I feel like the vocals were like really fucking stellar from Ollie. Mm, uh, mm, Probably the writing. I like the writing a lot, but the flow and cadence. Yeah, the writing, man. The writing was really, really crazy. It gave that like old school kind of like, um, that old school like pop punk emo kind of feel, but it was also like mixing with like a lot of like modern elements as well. So definitely the writing, definitely the writing. I like what Olipop did with this track for sure. Um, so instrumental solid. Definitely the structure, vocal solid, definitely the writing. Let's talk theme. So art is crazy. I really, really like this photo, and I just like the art in general, man. Especially for a track. Pictures painted in an empty space. This is definitely something you paint in an empty space. Facts it is. Like, this is a really great cover. Could even be project worthy, but I like it for a single too. So solid choice. I like that choice a lot. Overall theme, right? Pictures painted in an empty space. I think Ollie does a good job kind of describing how they want to, get up and leave. How they're also kind of like filled with like a lot of inspiration and creativity, and they need to like also leave, and just kind of like it's a very like escape kind of feeling you get from this song. You just want to run away to the hills and start a new life type shit. But it's also like addressing how things can kind of like not be what they seem, and you're kind of like painting pictures where they're not supposed to be painted type shit. But like there's a lot of like really interesting lines and themes here that you could kind of go off of with the title, but I think Ollie did a really good job kind of making this one hell of a unit of a song and really giving like a good mix of sounds, but also getting some words off their chest, right? With how they wrote this and how they delivered it. So well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to Lil Lollipop. Thank you so much for the submission, friend. Much, much love. Make sure you follow Ollie on SoundCloud. They are 7 away from 530. And of course, make sure you follow Ollie on Twitter. They're approaching 1.3K on the Bird app. Go show them some love on Twitter, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 210 sub-earnings. We are 2 away, my friends. So make sure you go show these artists and the channel some love. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, underground tips and tricks, a whole lot of good stuff's available over there. So go show the channel and these guys some love. And to those that already have, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays, my friends. So, with that said, that just about does it, man. We are approaching our 4-hour show limit. So, we're going to say a little bit of goodbyes, get a little shout outs, talk about what's coming up next for Music Mondays in the coming weeks. So, let's break it down, chat. Let's break it down. First off, huge shout out to everybody that came through and showed love to tonight's stream, man. You guys are fucking wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming through, showing some love and all that good stuff. You guys are fucking amazing. Huge shout out to TDG, King Mark, Tarek, Vac, Offspring, anybody else that lurked and chilled. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are awesome, man. So huge shout out to everybody else that submitted to the show as well tonight. Huge shout out to Maxine, Sphere, King Mark, TDG, Bebot, H2H, Jordan Andrew, Dreamboy, Tracy, The Elite Lizard Publishing Company, No Name Dread, Lil Wet Wet, Halloween, Brayden, Offspring, GIE, Olipop, and everybody else that submitted, but we did not get a chance to get to tonight. You guys are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, like I said at the beginning of the show, we have a stack of Music Mondays content for you guys coming this week. But first things first, submissions open tomorrow for episode 141. So if you're interested in submitting for next week's show, make sure you go follow us on socials. Keep us, you know, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. You guys know the drill, man. But yeah, make sure you follow us on socials, man, at All Music Mondays. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you use socials, we are there. So again, huge shout out to all you guys. Thank you. And submissions open tomorrow. So episode 141 will be live next week. I think this is our last episode of September. It is the last episode of September. It's crazy. Our next episode will be October 2nd, 2023. So that'll be fire. But yeah, let's see what's upcoming next for the next week or so. So in case you missed it, monthly June edition will be dropping on all socials. We have a brand new Music Mondays exclusive going live on our SoundCloud this week as well, along with a couple of articles and a brand new edition of Feature Friday and a brand new graphical update. So a lot of stacked content this week, man. But without you guys, none of this shit would be possible, man. So huge shout out to all you guys that just come through, support the channel, support Music Mondays, and give us a chance to spotlight all of you guys, man. So again, huge shout out to everybody that came through, showed love. Anybody else that lurked and chilled. Anybody else that submitted. I'm your boy Zomslays, so make sure you follow me on socials at Zomslays. Make sure you follow Music Mondays at All Music Mondays. And again, submissions open tomorrow for episode 141, so make sure you follow us on socials. And huge shout out to all of our Patreons as well. You see them on screen now: Blank Thought, Jordan Andrew, Coldrar, TDG, King Mark, and Ryuki. Thank you guys for pledging to the Music Mondays Patreon. So, with that said, it's been your boy Zomslays. We'll see you next week for episode 141. Be safe. I love you guys. Take care. And we'll see you next Monday. And of course, follow the channel, man. We're live damn near 6 days a week. But be safe. I love you guys. Take care. And we'll see you next week.